Good morning, welcome along to Tipp today. 1800 938 007, our free phone number. It won't cost you if you'd like to speak to us. And Leanne is producing. Coming up on the show today, we'll be hearing from Clonmel-based Councillor Richie Molloy in just a few moments' time. The Killough community respond to the proposed biogas plant in the area, and following on from a conversation we had yesterday on the programme as well. MEP Michael McNamara will be with us talking about Mercosur and some other issues as well. Contributors sharing their tattoo journeys and what are trending by way of babies' names for 2026. So all of that and much, much more on the way. You can text a WhatsApp 083 311 3311. You can email tiptoday@tippfm.com. Let's have a look at some of the front pages. The Irish Farmers Journal is on your shelves right now. And their main story, well, yeah, you guessed it, it's all about Mercosur. And they're telling us, well, Amy Ford in particular, telling us that the European Commission is on the cusp of signing the EU-Mercosur trade deal, with Brussels officials envisaging that the deal will be signed quite soon. Indeed, we'll be talking to Michael McNamara about that a little later on. Now, the Irish Times, the lead story on the Times today: the United States seized a Venezuela-linked oil tanker that had been shadowed by a Russian submarine yesterday after more than 2-week-long pursuit across the Atlantic, US officials have said. But the incident, which will heighten tensions with Washington and Moscow, as you can understand, appeared to be the first time in recent memory that the US military had seized a Russian-flagged vessel. Also on the Irish Times, we're reading that independents supporting the government are digging in on the Republic's vote on the contentious trade deal between the European Union and that group of South American countries, of course, going under the banner there of Mercosur. The Irish Independent, the lead story on the Indo today: ministers are scrambling to find a way to combat a huge rise in the number of digitally created images of semi-nude women and children on the social media platform X. And finally, a look at the Daily Mail, and their lead headline is rather stark indeed. You need to be on fat jabs for life, is what they're telling us. Well, tens of thousands of Irish people taking weight loss jabs may need to stay on them for life, according to experts. And yeah, we do have the Examiner to hand as well. And their headline: Mercosur vote threatens coalition, with a picture of Michael Healy-Rae in the middle of that piece there. And also, and Pat brought you some news about this during the bulletin there as well, after barely 48 hours reprieve, southern parts of the country will again be hit with icy conditions, with 4 counties under a yellow status, snow and rain warning from midday. So let's look at what's making headlines. Do you want to make comment on any of that? And if you do, once again, text WhatsApp 083 311 3311. Now, Clonmel-based Councillor Richie Molloy hit out at the imposition of new toll charges for motorists that came into effect last Thursday. He joins me now. Good morning to you, Richie.
Good morning to you, Fran, and your listeners, and a very happy New Year to you.
And many happy returns to you and yours as well. You called on the government to stop allowing these increases because you're saying, Richie, that it constantly puts more and more pressure on already hard-pressed motorists.
That's right, Frank. I accept 10 cents doesn't sound very much when you say it, we'll say, as a one-off thing. But I find many people would contact me from time to time, but the costs of, driving with, say, to Dublin, take even, say, family carers there attending the Children's Hospital in Dublin at times. You can be going up to several appointments. And between all the different things for the motorist today, the high cost of car insurance, and then when you look at the amount of money that's been taken in by the toll.
Huge profits, absolutely huge profits.
I was glad yesterday, remember that it's been highlighted again, in yesterday's papers there, like 500,000 is taken in just the toll there on the M50 motor every day. I always under the impression when the tolls come in first that has been used, to fund, we'll say, the building of the motorways between private and public.
Yes, and the upkeep of the motorways and all of that.
That's kind of long gone now. It's the government themselves really are taking in the money. When you think of everyone is paying motor tax, and on top of that then you have the tolls. And even the fact that it comes in there kind of sneakily, the 10 cents charge on the 1st of January, I suppose in one sense they're hoping it won't be noticed. But I think there is a big outcry at the moment about it's not just the tolls by themselves, it's the whole cost of motoring in Ireland today that's probably putting people on.
We also, I'm not sure if you got a chance to hear the interview we did, I'm not sure, was it yesterday or the day before, with the road haulage. A group from the Irish Road Haulage Association, and they were telling us that this is a huge effect on them as well. But it's also passed on to the consumer then, because it costs more to put food on our shelves.
No, absolutely. I mean, I worked in Sutton's many years ago, Fran, and you had haulage. We will be getting, we'll say, coal up from Cork with Arctic trucks and so on, and their rates have not really improved over the years. The rates that they get paid per tonne of whatever they're bringing up, but the costs of their actual costs of being in business have shot through the roof. I mean, diesel and petrol have continued to rise over the years several times. You've got the carbon taxes mixed in with that. And certainly for a haulier that would be on the motorways daily, I mean, that puts their costs up a huge amount.
What does it say to you about the government, Richie, just in terms of, I mean, are they just not aware that these hikes are hitting people, and very vulnerable people, in the pocket all of the time?
Yes, yeah. When I was listening to Darrell O'Brien, the minister, explain it yesterday, he's putting the onus over on the Transport Infrastructure Ireland. And you see, I think it's like typical, if you were to look at the HSE, the minister of the day would often say, well, that's the HSE are doing that, as if the government are somehow removed completely from it and have no bearing on it. I think it's kind of a cop-out, really. I mean, at the end of the day, it is the Minister for Transport that the buck stops with. And anybody will say in the real world would have to accept that the cost of motoring in Ireland is very, very difficult. Car insurance has definitely continued to rise, even though they'll tell you that, the way you can do the claims now, not going through the courts, you can draw it through that PIAB. Well, that should have brought the cost down, but I know people have been contacting me there over the last month or two with renewal notices coming out for car insurance, and really there's been increases all the time in car insurance. And then you have the tolls coming in on top of it. You'd imagine with motor tax, motor tax traditionally was to cover the upkeep of the roads, but that seems to be just another tax that you can't actually see where it goes.
So it's just going into central coffers in some sort of a fashion. Speaking of costs as well, there's been a row at the council meeting as well about the efforts to harmonise the parking charges as well. I'm completely confused about this, and I'm particularly confused with what I'm reading about what happened at the meeting, Richie.
We'll say, I suppose the one thing that I would welcome with this parking harmonisation is that from the 12th of January, they're putting it on display. We'd say the bylaws, the draft harmonised parking bylaws will be on display from the 12th of January in all the council offices. And this is a real chance, I suppose, for the public at large to make submissions, because one thing I've been calling for a long time is that there should at least be an hour or 2 hours free parking. Say, take a town like Clonmel, that should have free 2 hours in the morning, whereas in reality at the moment, once 9 a.m. starts, you must pay the parking charge, and it's not kind of right across the county. It's different in every town. I think in Cllr you might have free parking for an hour, but say in Clonmel, like a bigger town like Clonmel, I think motorists are crucified here that there's no grace time. So the council in those harmonised parking bylaws are proposing, a free 20 minutes. But I would be arguing that 20 minutes is still too small. Like, you do have 30 minutes free in the Mary Street car park here in Clonmel. The barrier system operates there and you have 30 minutes. But that's not going to encourage too many into the town centre if you really have to come in and get out within 30 minutes to avoid a charge. So I suppose I'd be saying to the public this morning that are listening that from the 12th of January, make submissions, because that's what will come up again at the council plenary meetings, and we'd be able to use that then to show this.
But I have to go along with what Councillor Pat English said, that he was under the impression that the harmonisation of the parking charges, Richie, would be right across the county and therefore would reduce the burden on Clonmel people who pay the highest charges.
Absolutely, yeah, but that didn't seem to be the case in that particular meeting. It seemed to be that we'd still continue to be paying a high charge. That seems very unfair in itself, because I suppose if we ever want to develop the town centres, and that's been a constant issue for many years, you have to encourage people into the centre. And really, I often find even with officials that probably don't realise how much people resent paying that parking charge. And that's what, obviously, then when you have the shopping centres outside the town with free parking, you're really kind of against the shops in the town centre. Then they're under pressure all the time.
And will different towns be rated in a different way? I mean, Clonmel, for example, is a Tier 1 town. What does that mean?
You see, Tier 1 straight away is going to mean you're going to be paying the highest charge. See, that's what we didn't want to see, because sometimes when they talk about harmonisation across the county, it sometimes means that we'll say that the towns that are paying a lower charge might come up a small bit, but it does nothing for the people that are paying the high charge. And definitely it's a huge issue, because they're saying Clonmel will be Tier 1, Thurles and Nina Tier 2, and then Rossbray, Templemore, the smaller towns will be Tier 3, but we're still not quite sure what that actually means, in money per hour. And I suppose the fact that now they'll put them out on public display, see, sometimes I suppose, or lots of times when things go on public display, they get so few submissions, and then that almost shows that there's no interest from the general public.
I wonder, is it that, Richie, or is it that people feel that they're wasting their time making a submission?
They could, I'd say there's a lot of apathy out there, and sometimes people feel when the executive makes the decision, that's that. But really, if enough of the public make noise, certainly in those submissions, if you get a number of submissions, they would change the rules. It often happens in planning, when you see planning notices coming in, and sometimes it can get a lot of submissions in on a particular planning. And that would make the planners then take note of what was being said. And certainly, we've been waiting for this harmonisation for many years, really, with the parking. It's taken years to kind of get it to this stage. I suppose now it's finally our chance, both as public reps.
So you would urge people to get involved in this, is that?
Definitely,
is that what
and just take the note from the 12th of January. These draft bylaws will be on display, in the local office here in Clonmel and in all the various council offices around the county and on the council website.
Right. Can I finally ask you about that bad news from the litter survey put together by the Irish Business Against Litter organisation, and Clonmel has lost its clean status. How serious is that for the town?
Well, it was very disappointing, Fran. There's no doubt about it that Clonmel has kind of slipped from, being 22nd to the 36th spot in the ranking. The only thing, I would say, is that, looking at our tidy town results have been very, very good over the last number of years. We continue to kind of get gold medal standard. And the misfortune with IBAL is, obviously you don't know the day these judges are coming into town, and you can be very misfortunate that the day they come in, that there's a litter thrown. Like the spots that they pointed out there, I think one of them was the Apple Green over on the Waterford Road in Leave Clonmel, that now, that wouldn't be under the Clonmel Council District, and we've been in touch with Waterford County Council about that. But I suppose there again, we all have to play our part in keeping our towns as much litter-free as we can. And, I'd have to compliment both the local council staff and certainly the volunteers in the tidy towns here in Clonmel. They do a tremendous job. You'd often see them out there on the bypass picking up litter on a daily basis, and so difficult. You clean it one day, the next day you're back to square one. Again, and I often think the Green Flag Initiative, in the primary schools, was a brilliant thing, really, because it got smaller kids to be very conscious, and they in turn were leaning on their parents to be conscious. But you would see from time to time again, things thrown out the window, bags of chips, empty and that kind of thing. And like from the council's point of view, it is impossible to keep up with it at times unless the entire public buy into it.
Right.
There's no doubt it was disappointing just to see those kind of results
coming out. That's for sure. Just before I let you go, Mick was on to us and he's wondering, does Richie know about the water pressure in Clonmel again today? Will it be reduced again?
Yeah, I mean, with the water, we've had so many water issues in Clonmel, and just before Christmas, the boiled water notice was finally lifted from anyone that's been supplied by Glenari, and that went on for 6 and 8 weeks, and there was calls coming in constantly. It's very hard to say. I'm not aware of that one now that Mick is talking about there. It could be a breakage in one of the pipes, or they could be doing works. It's often difficult to tell. I'm constantly anti-Irish water, but the whole system there was totally crazy, as we could probably appreciate. If it had been left with the local authorities, we had more say. You had the local staff were aware of, various, they knew exactly where the pipes were, for one thing. Whereas now, at the moment, everybody knows you're ringing in a call centre in Cork. Sometimes they can't even picture where you're exactly talking about.
And we hear stories about that all the time. If you hear anything extra on that, Richie, will you let us know about the water pressure?
Absolutely. Right. It could be an out in Stoughton Swarm, but I'll check it out.
All right. Thanks, Richie. Sure. Thank you. Good morning to you.
Bye-bye. Good morning to you.
Clonmel-based Councillor Richie Molloy speaking to us there. 1800 938 007.
Tipp FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, Puck On. Main Peugeot dealers in the Premier County. And now stocking the full range of the luxury French car brand DS Automobiles. Book your test drive today with Slattery's Garage, Puck On. See slatterysgarage.ie.
Tipp FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, Puck On. It's time to change. Test drive the award-winning range of Peugeot hybrids and fully electric vehicles at Slattery's Garage today. See slatterysgarage.ie.
Now, yesterday, the CEO of Climaticus, Dr. Maurice Deasy, joined us on the show after his organisation was appointed by Roadstone to open communication in Killough around proposals for the biorenewables plant in the area. Now, Pat Shanahan has spoken to us on this before. He's a member of the Killough Biogas Concern Committee. Good morning to you, Pat.
Good morning, Fran. Thanks for your time this morning.
You're very welcome and good to talk to you today as well. I think you may have been listening to that piece on the programme yesterday, Pat. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I suppose, Fran, I suppose for us, listening to who? Because, I mean, if the Tipperary County Council, if Roadstone aren't going to listen to Tipperary County Council about siting this in a correct location, they're very unlikely to listen to ourselves. I mean, we the community have voiced their concerns through the planning process, and we would have expected that Roadstone would have reverted and engaged with us before they submitted their further information. I suppose for me ourselves, it's kind of a cynical tick-the-box exercise because the Killough have already submitted their planning further information, so that's already gone in. And really, they're proposing to have a listening event 2 days before the final submissions on that Saturday. So at that point, it's too late. You only have 24 hours to listen to what we have to say. And, we would prefer if we've asked for in the past to have an open forum, a town hall meeting with our elected representatives and speak to us as a community, not individually or not behind NDAs or anything like that, So I suppose that's really what I made up yesterday. And I was kind of surprised and taken aback at some of his comments, in terms of balancing road safety with
jobs, yeah. What did you make of that comment? I was going to ask you about that because when I put it to him about the quality of the roads in the area, maybe even the danger to some of the people using those roads, he said, well, look, there's going to be more jobs for drivers and for people involved in haulage. What did you make of that comment?
Road safety, preservation of life. I have children here that we can't let them out on the road to cycle or walk because it is. When we go out on that road, the Galbraithstown Road, or even the road down to the main road there, a lot of time we're running the gauntlet. It's bizarre, really. It's a kind of a goo-boo statement. So that's really it, I suppose.
And did you take anything else from what he said to me that might have been new or might have added to the conversation in any way?
Yeah, look, we set up a website, Killough.ie, and we've documented our concerns. And I suppose what I took from it really was that, previously they were talking about compressed gas. Now it's LNG. And I mean, LNG is a different animal. They talk about safety on the site, but I mean, you can't use water to put out an LNG fire. The other thing is that he I'm sure he's very good at mechanical his background, but there are when you ask questions about safety, blasting, seismic activity, like Killough last year. On the island of Ireland, that was the highest seismic. There was a 1.5 Richter scale seismic event in Killough Quarry. So there's nowhere else on the island of Ireland that has the seismic activity that Killough has. It's picked up nationally when they blast. Like we've looked around Europe, we've asked for where there's similar plants that we can compare this to. And I think even in India and China, you don't see putting plants like this. It's like somebody got out a crayon and decided to say, well, we're going to put a plant there and not consider the risks. We don't see consultation with the HSA, the HSE, DIAS, or the EPA. So it's just it seems to be kind of just location, the wrong location, and just not considered.
I also put it to him, Pat, about the piece from the environmental scientist Anya McCann, where she had grave concerns indeed about water sources, about the possibility of contamination, particularly when you take into account that it is a limestone region, so therefore is porous in some way. He made the point to me that, well, he was dismissive of that, but he was saying that in fact this could help with water quality.
Look, I mean, you can take whatever view you want from whatever data set you want, but the reality is, if you look at the further information that, to be fair, Tipperary County Council released there in March, Chapter 7, Paragraph B. It says testing of on-site boreholes has revealed high levels of nitrates in groundwater, exceeding the limits of nitrates when compared to the relevant statutory instruments. So basically, as this is the current status for groundwater here in Killough, McCarthy, Balderstown, Borlahan and Holy Cross, it suggests that the groundwater is already facing significant stressors, right? The new AD plant will bring concentrated levels of nitrates and ammonia, which in the event of an accidental discharge could prove fatal for children under 4 months old. So that's Tipperary County Council's further information. So it's whatever way I just don't understand how he's coming to that, because the issue is you're bringing a lot of material into this area. The site is porous, right? You can talk about bundled tanks, but we've had a leak here about 15 years ago. It was a bundled fuel tank and 4,000 litres of diesel fuel, and within minutes there was a neighbour's well was contaminated, and Roadstone they owned up to it, and they sunk another well to replace that well. So it is a vulnerable site, and if you it's really for us. It's location. You can operate one of these plants where you have attenuation. Like Anya McCann's point is that there's no possibility of containment, because once the water touches the limestone, it's porous. It's straight down into that aquifer. That's really it's.
So will you, or will members of your group, Pat, will you attend the listening meeting?
I'm happy to. I will happy to attend, and I suppose my question to them is: look, there is the further information request from Tipperary County Council. How have you addressed this? You talk about air abatement and you talk about odour, but what systems have you put in place? It should be best available technology. If you go out to Denmark or Stockholm, wherever these plants are across Europe, you have setback, you have exclusion zones, and you have thermal oxidization. So it's a unit that literally burns the particulates out of the air. So that's the gold standard. That's the best available technology. I don't see it being applied here. And then in terms of water safety or water contamination, there's other plants where they are putting reverse osmosis systems in place, which would mitigate risks around the risk to water here, because we are immediately close to the Lower River Shore SAC. And I suppose, even what he was saying yesterday was that he was saying about nitrates. Farmers, agriculture are under pressure, right? But this actually, that irrigation, when that goes away in 3 years' time, it will probably be more regionalised. So I mean, if you're along the shore, the nitrates in the shore is high, well then that affects your stocking rate. So it actually if you don't, that's why it's more important to site these plants in the correct locations, because with that could undermine agriculture in this region. So that's probably
all right. And just to finish with, just give me the timeline then, because the decision is due from the county council, but that's March, is it?
Yeah, the 7th of March, they're due to make a decision. So I suppose at that point, it will probably very likely to be appealed to on Cllr Richie by Roadstone or ourselves, depending on the outcome from Tipperary County Council. But in terms of when we look at other counties, Kildare and Limerick, there was 2 plants that those councils effectively refused because they said that those plants were seriously injurious to the local environment. So
you're saying you have some precedent on your side there. Is that it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Tipperary County Council, based on the further information, I think their understanding of the issues, but I think it's has Roadstone addressed these issues, and then there's a reliance on the HSE, the HSA and the EPA to support Tipperary County Council in their decision. So it's hard for the Tipperary planner to make that decision without a proper assessment, not just a desktop assessment of an EIR.
All right, good to talk to you. We'll be following the story, needless to say, Pat. Thanks for your time this morning. Thank you.
Tipp FM's Tipp Today.
With Slattery's Garage, puck on. It's time to change. Test drive the award-winning range of Peugeot hybrids and fully electric vehicles at Slattery's Garage today. See slatterysgarage.ie.
If it matters to you, it matters to us. Call Tipp today on 1-800-938-007.
Now, we will continue to attempt to get that line organised to France and to John. But in the meantime, delighted to be joined by David Maloney. Good morning to you, David.
Hello, friend. How are you this morning?
I am very well indeed. Great to talk to you, and a happy New Year to you, David. It's been a while. You have some predictions as to how the whole Venezuelan thing is going to pan out, and it's based on, from your point of view, it's based on history of conflict of this kind, I suppose, David.
Yeah, true. I worked actually in the Middle East on oil and gas projects, so I was pretty aware of what was going on out there. And generally, I mean, I look at what happened in Iraq, where the Americans invaded Iraq on the pretense that there were Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, which proved to be false. All right, and really, the reason why they did invade Iraq was they wanted to get rid of Saddam Hussein, because he was actually lobbying all the Arab countries, right, to nationalise their own oil and gas industries to stop America, England, and European big oil companies from profiteering. And they didn't like that, the Americans, so that's why they actually eliminated it.
Well, of course, Tony Blair and it was Bush at the time, wasn't it? Bush?
It was Bush and Blair together, right?
Yeah, but they're saying that they based their decision making at the time on intelligence that they were getting.
Yes.
That doesn't hold water for you, obviously. You
not at all. No. And see what actually happened, right? I mean, you look at Iraq today, and this is lawless, because all you have to do is look at the U.S. travel advisory, and it tells you all the crimes and how dangerous it is and how no one should actually go there. And I worked with an oil company, right, and they had staff working on the oil fields who were actually kidnapped and held for ransom. The company I worked for had to actually pay a big ransom to get them released. That just shows how lawlessness, right, and the anarchy that ensued after America took control of Iraq. You know.
Now, but Venezuela is a very different situation, though, is it not, David?
Well, I mean, what happened in Venezuela is shocking, right? The fact that the Americans went in, right, and even the UN spokesman actually said that it was a completely illegal activity, and they actually have killed 100 people just to take out the leader and his wife. But they still are left with the governments that were there all along. You know, so I mean, and as I said, I mean, all the Americans are interested in is the something like $19 trillion worth of oil reserves. Like everything, that's what motivates America, even in the Middle East.
You know what the states are saying about this? It's all about narcotics. It's all about drugs and the drugs that are emerging from Venezuela, and heading for the States and all of that. And we had all the boats being blown up ahead of this incursion as well. Does any of that make any sense to you? That it's America protecting its people in some way.
Yeah, but you can't justify invading a country, right, and taking out its leaders, right, on the basis of criminality. If that's the way people could actually justify going into America and taking out Trump, because a lot of people classify Trump as a war criminal for what he has done in Israel, right, and his behaviour. I mean, he created almost a coup there at the time of the elections, you know, and I mean, there's been a lot of indictments against Trump, right? So would that justify someone going in and taking out Trump?
Even though the Venezuelan people themselves are celebrating on the streets about the toppling of Maduro.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. What's propaganda? What's not? You also see how they're celebrating, how they're actually objecting in a big way to the killing of 100 people, and the removal of Maduro. Because again, a lot of these, I mean, no one wants... I mean, that's chaos where you can actually go into a country and take out a leader, whether you have reasons or no reasons, right? But it's obvious that, I mean, his motivation is the oil. If he was interested in drugs, he'd go into Colombia. Colombia is the place where all the drugs are actually grown.
Well, he did mention the possibility of doing something where Colombia is concerned as well.
Yeah. But I mean, it's obvious that his prime objective, right, is to get his hands on the biggest oil reserves in the world, which is Venezuela.
Right, and of course the Chinese into this discussion as well, I guess, and their interest in Venezuela.
Yeah, that makes it very complicated because China buys something like 80% of Venezuelan oil, and China have actually given loans to Venezuela, right, to buy future oil from them.
Where is it going to end, do you think?
It's going to be a big shake-up, isn't it, right, in world politics, right? I mean, it could end up in a major international war because now Trump has actually made enemies everywhere. He's made enemies out of China. He's made enemies of Iran. He's made enemies out of the Russians, right? Now he's making enemies out of the Europeans because they're afraid he'll take over Greenland. You know. So, I mean, it's looking bleak, right?
What about a response from the Irish government? What are you making of what the Taoiseach said during his trip to China?
Sure, spineless what he said, right? I mean, the Pope actually came out and condemned it, right? I mean, to invade any country, right, regardless of criminality or no criminality, right, is not allowed. I mean, that'd be chaos. That'd be like if you or me went into our neighbour's house and took over our neighbour's house because they're involved in what we said was drug dealing. I mean, you can't just take over other people's properties, right?
Yeah, well, you are making a good point in that, many of the conflicts that America has been involved in over many decades, indeed, when they emerge from those conflicts and when they pull out of those various countries, they often leave chaos behind them.
What they do, complete anarchy is what they leave behind them, right? I mean, America, in the last, since Trump came to power, they invaded and they bombed the Houthis in Yemen. They bombed the ISIS in Syria only recently, right? They bombed Iran. and then they're actually financing and facilitating the troubles in Israel.
And again, can I ask you the question I asked you earlier on? Where is this going to end? Will this end with Trump, do you think?
Well, I mean, Trump has made a world of enemies, but as I said, even if he goes into Iraq, right, with American companies, right, I mean, they'll be targeted in a big way, right, by the drug lords, right, and they'll be held for ransom.
You said Iraq. I presume you're talking about Venezuela, are you?
Sorry, yeah. It'll happen in Venezuela as well, right? The Americans go in and try to run the oil fields.
Yeah. What are you saying, that there would be
well, just
a war of types there, I suppose. Is that what you're saying to me with those criminal groups?
Those criminal groups would actually, what they do is they kidnap and hold for ransom American workers.
Right, and you saw this happening on your own watch.
I did. I saw this myself, out in the Middle East, right? I mean, this is a real great threat, kidnap and ransom. Because you can, what happens is a lot of these oil and even the company I work for, they had actually insurance specifically called kidnap and ransom.
That they'd be willing to pay to get back their people, is that it?
The insurance company would get involved, right? And I saw it myself out there, right? The insurance company would get involved if their staff are actually kidnapped, right? And the insurance company would employ what they did. I saw out there. They employed a big English security firm to negotiate with the terrorists that were actually had kidnapped for a swap between assets, money, and the release of the staff.
All right, it's an interesting one. It's certainly one to watch. Good to talk to you, David. Thanks for your time this morning.
Okay,
Thank you. Good morning to you. It's David Maloney speaking to us there. How do you feel about that? That's his particular take on what's happening in Venezuela and indeed around the world as well. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Would you like to make all the points on that? 083 311 3311. Now, the talk over the last while has been about tattoos, as you know, earlier on this week. We played a piece from my very first tattooing in Prodigy Inc. in Clonmel. Now, although I took the plunge, Leanne and Ellie are still to be convinced to face the needles. But a veteran of tattoo is my good friend Joe Noble, who joins me now. Good morning to you, Joe.
Oh, sorry, friend. I was looking at me Robin eating his breakfast. Good morning.
How was your Robin eating his breakfast?
He's lovely. He's gone real friendly with me now. He's adored.
Good.
Anyway.
Yeah. So tell me about tattoo. You have tattoos, Joe.
I have one.
Okay.
Yeah, I have one. There was a story behind it. You see, years ago, friend, my lads, they all have tattoos. Like,
yeah,
the three boys, they have tattoos. And of course, I saw them getting them, and me being me, I was mad to get one. Right? Anyway, I was told, don't be so silly and stupid and blah, 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 blah. What do you want a tattoo at your age for? Blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I didn't. But anyway, when I got divorced, I went mad. Okay? And I remember I was living with one of my sons, Stephen, at the time. And he was saying, "Ma'am, would you not go and get your tattoo?" And I goes, "I don't know. I had this thing in my head being told I was, a bit stupid getting a tattoo at my age and so forth, etc. And I was kind of a little bit, Yeah. Anyway, he went rooting anyway, and he said, right, he was showing me different ones on the internet and blah, 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 blah. And he said, "Ma'am, it is like this," he said. "You're saying your age, getting a tattoo at your age." He said, "If you got a flipping tattoo," he said, "when you were 16, you still have it at your age." So he said, "What is the difference?" And I never thought of it that way. So because I was a bit dubious, and lo and behold, he went off and he made the appointment and he came with me.
Wow.
Yeah,
and what was the experience like for you, Joe?
Oh, it was brilliant.
Was it?
I want more. Yeah. I remember going in, I was a little tiny bit nervous, but my tattoo is unique. There'll nobody ever have the same tattoo as me. Your man even tore up the piece of paper and the whole works, and he told me.
So what have you got? What did you get tattooed on?
I got, because a little bit, I'd be a little bit bowels, a little bit rebellious,
Yeah,
and because I was told all the time I shouldn't get one, I got a new beginning for me my tattoo is a new beginning for me after my divorce, after everything, right?
Right.
And it is your man rising out of the ashes.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
that?
Is it Pegasus, is it?
No. Phoenix. What's it called?
Oh, the Phoenix rising from the ashes, of course,
Yeah.
yes.
But
Yeah.
I didn't want the ugly fella with the big beak.
With the beak, yes.
So your man, he done a kind of a womany one. It's like abstract type of thing.
So like a feminine phoenix rising from the ashes.
Absolutely.
I love it.
And
So a symbol of new beginnings and all of that,
new
Joe.
beginnings for me. So it means something to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he added in extra little bits into it. He put in a little red heart in the middle. Why, I don't know. Anyway, he did. I don't know what that means. But I have it on the back of my shoulder. Like I didn't get one to broadcast it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, friend, it was funny. One day I was with Stephen again, and he was texting his car behind Nina, and we're walking along. It's in the summer. And I had a top on me, but the strap kind of on the top kind of went down a bit, so you could see my shoulder.
Yes.
And he was walking behind me, because there was people coming on the footpath, and he goes, "Ma'am, there's lovely colours in that tattoo." And I goes, "What? Can you see it?" And he was quite hiding it. He says, "Don't be daft." But no, it was brilliant. So I love my tattoo, but the thing is, I'm mad to get another one.
Are
But
you?
come here.
And what would you get this time?
I don't know. I think I saw a lovely one that I'd like to get done, and it is a kind of a dream catcher.
Oh, right, yeah. There's little dangly things with, yeah.
But do you know what I would love? But in a tiny little thing now on my other back of my other shoulder, a little robin.
A little robin. I thought you were going to say that, all right.
Robin. Yeah.
You wouldn't get one of the bullocks from out the back.
Well, you got going around the bullock on me, wouldn't I?
Well, you're so fond of the bullocks and the antics they get up to. I just thought that would be a lovely image to have.
The bullocks keeps me entertained. No, that's to tell you the sad life I live.
I was very disappointed when I went to visit, though. There was no bullocks out the back.
I know, you'll have to come back when they're out in the field. I'll let you know when they come out.
I have to see. The antics they get up to. But in the meantime, you possibly a robin next time, maybe?
Yeah, it would be. I'd imagine that's exactly what it would be, just a small little one, like, on my other shoulder, the back of my other shoulder.
But why do people put tattoos in places where they won't be seen?
I don't know, really. I suppose with me, friend, I think it was that I was brainwashed into being too old to get a tattoo and so forth, etc., that I still felt a little bit. Now I don't give a sugar, like.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't care now if the Pope saw it.
Right.
But it's, I think back then I was still a little bit, because I'd been told for a few years, like, don't be stupid at your age getting a tattoo. What do you think? You're not a young one. You're this, that, you're other. And kind of, if you're told you're stupid long enough, you believe it. Put it that way.
But I was speaking to the guys in Prodigy Tattoo in Clonmel, and they were telling me that people of all ages are going in there now.
Oh, yeah. They are. And I mean, I'm old, and I'd love to go and get another one. Yep. And now it wouldn't bother me now. To be quite honest with you, not at all. It wouldn't bother me now. Well, come here to tell you, I zoomed in on your one, friend, and I can't make it out. And I missed when you were talking on the radio because I had to go out.
Yeah, it's a handprint of my little granddaughter, and it's her name in the middle of it, Ellie in the middle of it. So that's what it is.
Friend, that's brilliant.
Yeah. So.
Oh, lovely. I scrutinise my eyes and I zoom in and I'm thinking, what the dickens is it? I have to find out.
Yeah, no, they got a little sort of they put sort of paint on her little hand, and they got an image of that, and then the chap in the tattoo place was able to put that into some kind of transfer, and that's what he put, and then he wrote her name in the middle of it as well. So that's what.
That is just amazing. And would you get another one now?
I wouldn't, to be honest with you.
Now. Why?
I'm not a tattoo person. I only did it as a radio kind of a promotion thing, to be honest with you, Joe. In fact, up until up until I did it, and up until I was talking to so many people about it, I didn't really like them all that much. But now I feel differently. No.
Do you know something, Fran? When you get one, it can. And like people tell you they don't hurt. I didn't. I mean, your man that day that I went in to get mine done, I got mine done in Thurles, right? I can't remember the name of the place, but I did. And when I went in, he first says to me, he said, no, this will take a little while and you mightn't be able for it. You might have to come back for a second sitting. And I'm sitting there thinking, if you think I'm walking out this door without a tattoo, you have another thing coming by. So I was there. I nearly fell asleep getting it done, sure. And he couldn't believe that I was able to, get the whole thing done the one day.
Yeah, but you see, you'd be used to it. I'd be a big wuss. I mean, I found it a bit painful now, I have to say.
Now, in certain places that you get tattoos, friend, they can be tender, yes.
How do you mean certain places?
Well, we won't go into that, Fran.
Well, I'll bow to your superior knowledge of that, Joe.
Yeah, but no, on your wrist, or do you know if you're getting it on a bony area?
Oh, I know, yeah, of course.
That.
Well, listen, can you send us pictures? I don't know how you'd picture, but something that's behind your back. Would you send us a picture of your tattoo?
My tattoo is on your flipping page where you were talking about tattoos.
You see, you caught me out now. I didn't look at the page.
And see, there you go. You weren't very observant.
No. But you see, you couldn't make out what my tattoo was about. So snap.
But mine's big. Come here, use the tiny. You can't miss mine. You cannot miss mine.
Joe, look, a happy new year to you and all of yours, and always a pleasure, Dot. Thank you so much.
Happy return. Thanks a million.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. And hello to the Robins and the Bullocks and all of that. Even though Liam was on to us with a kind of a bit of a spoiler for our Joe, and he says, friend, not to disappoint Joe, but did you know that robins, as beautiful and friendly as they are, they only live for 2 years. And if they're lucky, maybe 4 years. But yes, they are beautiful, kind, wonderful creatures, says Liam to us today. All right, and on that downer, we will head towards news.
Tipp FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, Puck On. Main Peugeot dealers in the Premier County. And now stocking the full range of the luxury French car brand DS Automobiles. Book your test drive today with Slattery's Garage, Puck On. See slatterysgarage.ie.
Tipp FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, Puck On. Over half a century driving the people of Tipperary and surrounding areas with quality, reliable and economical vehicles, new and used. Call the sales team today to discuss your next car or van on 067 24 111.
Thanks, Pat. Welcome back to the second hour of Tip Today. 1800 938 007. Now, the European Commission said yesterday that it would cut import duties for certain fertilisers and drive forward law that could allow temporary suspensions to the EU's carbon border levy as it sought to win over opponents of its free trade agreement with South American bloc Mercosur. Now, the concessions are part of an attempt by the Commission, backed by countries such as Germany and Spain, as you can imagine, to garner the majority of 15 EU members, representing 65% of the EU population, to authorise the signing of the deal. Now, with the vote on the Mercosur deal expected tomorrow, Independent Minister of State for Agriculture Michael Healy-Rae said that he wanted the government to oppose the pact, even if a so-called blocking minority of member states cannot be assembled to stop the approval. But as you know, at this point now, Ireland will vote against the Mercosur deal, according to the Taoiseach and the Taoiseach. Now, ahead of a major protest in Athlone this coming Saturday, Independent Ireland MEP for Ireland South, Michael McNamara, called on the government to get off the fence and join the blocking minority. And Michael is with me now. Good morning to you, Michael.
Good morning, and thanks very much.
And thanks.
Just to say, I'm not a member of Independent Ireland, but I will be at the rally on Saturday. Will be opposing Mercosur. I've been quite vocal in the Parliament against it, and been working with cross-party MEPs to introduce amendments to try to mitigate it and to try to block it indeed, but to mitigate it in the event that it does pass. And I'll be organising an event in Cllr on the issue on the night of the 19th at 8 o'clock in the Hill Bar. So, yeah, but I am very much against the Mercosur deal for what it does to Irish agriculture and indeed European agriculture.
So I guess you're happy that the government, as you you put it, have gotten off the fence on this, and they've confirmed now that they will vote against.
Yeah, it's taken them a long time, and I very much welcome Michael Killough's stance on this, which I think finally forced Micheál Martin and Simon Harris, who were very equivocal, watery even up to now, but have finally, as I say, put their cards on the table and said they'll be voting against it.
What do you make of what the Taoiseach said, though? He said that the government's position on Mercosur has always been clear.
Well, I mean, the programme for government has always been clear, but the government, I mean, on numerous occasions, he refused to say that they would oppose it, and there was even he sort of was very equivocal when asked and said, "Oh, well, you know, the nitrates derogation was obtained, and there was a suggestion from that maybe some deal had been done, or that he felt that he owed a favour or something like that." So the position was, as I say, clear in the programme for government, clear in what they said before the election, but they were far from clear between after being elected up to now. But look, I welcome the fact that they're finally off the fence.
Right, and to be pragmatic about this, I mean, it seems that this is a done deal at this point, Michael.
No, it doesn't. The Italians are now requesting. I backed a proposal in the Parliament that there's a 10% so-called handbrake in the deal that was introduced, these so-called safeguards, to try to placate the French, who were not placated by it, but it was an attempt to placate them. The Parliament voted just before Christmas, and I voted along with many of my colleagues, to reduce that to 5% in these. That was the mandate given to the Parliament negotiators, who went and met with the Council. 8% was a compromise agreed, but the Italians are now saying that they're unhappy with that compromise and they want that reduced back down to 5%, which was the Parliament's position. So it doesn't seem like it's a done deal. There's still a question mark over what the Italians are going to do, which makes it all the more important that countries like Ireland, Poland, France, that Austria, that have been expected to block the deal, notwithstanding the equivocation from both Micheál Martin and Simon Harris in this, that they remain steadfast and offer their support to the Italians, because it is, I suppose, ultimately down to the Italians at this stage, because it has to be countries representing governments representing 35% of the population are required to be a blocking minority, and France, Poland, Ireland is not insignificant, but it's still only about a little over 1% of the population. But Italy has a very big population, and realistically, the numbers required to block it won't be there without Italy.
There's much confusion, but I heard the vox pop of so-called ordinary people this morning, and there's a lot of confusion out there. And for the layman, Michael, I mean, what are the main issues with Mercosur? Because at first glance, there are opportunities for us. We can diversify our markets. We can expand our trade. So what are the issues as far as you're concerned?
Well, I suppose the issue, as far as I'm concerned, is for more or less since Ireland joined the European Union, certainly for 40 years now, there's been an emphasis on agriculture in a way that's compatible with the environment, in a way that it doesn't damage the environment, that respects the environment, agriculture in a way that doesn't use illegal growth hormones that are banned because of health impacts that they have. For example, there's one called estradiol, which is a commonly used growth promoter, which has carcinogenic effects on people. But those growth promoters, those antibiotics that we're seeking to reduce the amount of in Irish agriculture, are readily used in Brazil without prescription, and they're administered as a matter of course. The EU's commission, the DG Sante, which is the health commission, have done a survey in this, and they have found that they were present but very hard to detect in meat. And of course, existing beef imports from Brazil have been suspended where they have been found. But the point is that those growth promoters are actually hard to detect in beef. So European consumers expect that if they go to a shop or a butcher they buy meat, beef, pork, chicken, whatever, that it will be of the highest quality, that it will have been produced in a way that doesn't damage the environment and isn't going to damage their health, isn't going to contain growth promoters that will damage their health. This deal undermines that. It is, people would say, a relatively small amount of beef, but it is, of course, all these things start with the thin end of the wedge and to get bigger over time. But it is the undermining of the direction that agriculture has been moved in Europe for the past 45 years, I think, is very detrimental.
But however, this is a huge market, Michael, and for other aspects of our agri-industry, agri-foods, for example, there's huge opportunities.
There may well be, but there may not be as well. I mean, the main opportunities that this will be for, and those who are its main proponents in Europe are around automobiles and the idea that Europe can supplant Chinese sales of automobiles in South America. That seems to me to be fanciful, given that the Chinese cars are increasingly prevalent in Europe, notwithstanding the huge tariffs that we put on them, of course. So it would be wrong to say that this is about one part of agriculture over another. This is very much about selling German cars, which are tanking at the moment, partly because the quality with which we associate it with German cars simply isn't there anymore. They were once built to last a lifetime. Now they're built to last 3 years until the warranty runs out. That's my personal experience of German cars, but maybe your listeners will have a different experience.
So you disagree then with, I see the headline on the Farmers' Journal today, EU set to sign up to Mercosur. As far as you're concerned, there's still a chance that won't happen.
Well, I mean, the news overnight was that the Italians are looking for further concessions. I think there's a good chance that a deal will be done. Certainly the Commission is pulling out all the stops to achieve this deal. But, I mean, it would be wrong to pretend that this deal is anything other than about trying to put a floor under the German economy, which is in free fall because of their fairly disastrous energy policies. I mean, they were completely reliant on Russian gas to generate electricity. Obviously, you need lots of electricity to make cars. They closed down their nuclear power stations. Now they've they don't have enough energy, and the energy they have is incredibly expensive, so they're not competitive. And they also, the Chinese got a march on them in terms of
the electric cars,
electric cars. So Germany's in a bad place in terms of its industry, and this is what this is about primarily.
However, and I mean, I'm sure you'd agree with this to some degree, with all that's happening geopolitically, we do need other markets, and we do need to diversify.
Yeah, but I mean, we do need other markets, but I mean, we'd also need to negotiate deals that don't undermine the basis that the European Union has been moving in for 40 years. I mean, our Taoiseach Micheál Martin was in China recently. That's a huge market that von der Leyen spent most of her first term antagonising and snubbing and turning her nose up at every available opportunity. There are lots of markets in the world. We indeed do need to diversify away from our complete reliance on the United States, which is beginning to look like a very one-sided relationship, and maybe a little bit, there's a slightly unrequited love that the Europeans have for the United States. The United States doesn't seem to share that anymore, and is a little bit more cavalier in its actions. But I mean, the way to do that is not, I think, to undermine European consumers' confidence in the food they buy and undermine the confidence of European food producers. And also, one thing we learned during COVID was how important it is to have security of supply. I mean, the whole Common Agricultural Policy was set up initially to ensure security of supply. We've taken that for granted, but now we're going to put that at risk by having long supply chains, beef coming in from South America. I mean, there is simply no way that Irish farmers can compete with South America because of the standards of farmers in Ireland, Tipperary, Cllr, right across Ireland are required to produce to, and the complete difference in standards that the competitors, or their new competitors in South America, are expected to. And
will you help me to understand, if the Mercosur deal goes ahead, and we're seen to be against this and attempting to block this and all that sort of thing, will we be treated poorly then going forward? Will this stand against us, I suppose, is what I'm saying to you, Michael?
I can't see how it will. I mean, it's France.
Well, with cap negotiations and the like, or nitrates or whatever.
Cap negotiation, nitrates is done, but only for 3 years.
3 years,
cap negotiations, yeah. But I mean, this will be long forgotten in 3 years' time. That is just the nature of Brussels and deal making. It'll move on to the next one. This idea that, I mean, the Irish government seems petrified to stand up for Ireland when it goes to the Council in Europe list is incur the disfavour. Sometimes you'd have to wonder whether it's about the government itself or whether it's about the benefit of Ireland, some of the positions that they take. I mean, countries regularly stand up for themselves at the Council, whether it's this loan deal which is to keep Ukraine afloat, which 3 countries opted out of, but the taxpayers from the other 24 will have to stump up the 90 billion, including, of course, Ireland, at its percentage of European GDP.
So what is it? We want to be the good boys. We want to be the good boys of Europe all the time.
It does have that. Well, we want to stay on side with von der Leyen at all times. It does appear. I mean, there seems to be a complete reluctance to ever.
And is that pragmatic in its own way, Michael? Is that pragmatic? Is that realpolitik?
It can be pragmatic at times, but I mean, every politician is elected and is expected to stand up for those who elected them. That goes for governments as well. I mean, of course, it's pragmatic not to pick fights that you don't need to pick, but equally, you have to stand up for what you need to stand up for, and this is something that very much goes to the core of our national interest. Very much, Ireland is. I mean, let's not forget. Maybe it's receding into the distant past now, but I remember it very clearly when the building economy collapsed, and we were very much reliant on agriculture and agricultural activity to pull us out of the hole again. I mean, Ireland is a country where agriculture is hugely important, and it's an industry that, unlike, for example, X, which has a European headquarters in Ireland, or MET and all these, which are hugely important employers, but they could leave over the space of a year. Irish agriculture is not going to be leaving. Irish agriculture is the bedrock of rural Ireland and our societies, our shops, our pubs, farmers that are earning money, working from dawn till dusk, spending that money in their local economies. And that's something that we rely on to a large extent. I think the government tend to forget about it when they're being wined and dined by the big corporates. But it's a hugely important part of our economy, and one that, as I say, won't be moving anywhere, and one that now needs to be protected.
Can I ask you, before I let you go, something you've been saying that interests me? The EU's balanced approach to Airbnbs versus Ireland's blanket ban is the difference between smart policy and knee-jerk reaction. Would you explain that to me, and the difference between both?
Well, I mean, the Jorgensen, the responsible commissioner for this area, has proposed to bring in to allow for a ban to be introduced in certain population areas. Like, obviously, it's well reported places like Venice have become very hard to live in because of the number of Airbnbs that are pricing ordinary people out of the market. That's true probably of Dublin. It's a huge concern. But then you have places in rural Ireland where they are reliant on tourism, where there are no longer any hotel beds because most of the hotels are being rented essentially by IPAS to accommodate asylum seekers. That's very much the case in my own county of Cllr. It's also been very controversial in Tipperary, in Roscrea, Dundrum, other areas that relied or would traditionally rely on tourism. There are no hotel beds anymore. The only hotel beds there are Airbnbs. Ask any hotelier now and they will tell you that we will not see hotels built in rural Ireland again. Just the cost of building them doesn't make them economical. So it's not like there's going to be new hotels built. So we're reliant on Airbnbs for the tourism. That is also an important part of our rural economy. And banning them in places where they're not having as detrimental effect as others. I mean, it is about balance. It's about looking at areas that need tourism and that don't have, while there's an accommodation shortage everywhere in Ireland, it's far more draconian in some places than in others. And there are parts of the country that are more reliant on tourism than others.
Yeah, and speaking of tourism, that extension of the tourist season there, as put forward by Minister Peter Burke, and the 4.7 billion capital investment strategy for the next 5 years. There is an attempt to repair tourism in some sort of fashion, is there?
And very welcome it is. But I mean, this effective ban on Airbnbs by declaring the whole country to be a rent pressure zone so that there can't be Airbnbs, and of course there's no real, my understanding is the government haven't ever clarified how that's going to be enforced, but nevertheless it will be illegal to operate an Airbnb unless you have specific planning permission for it. Runs contrary to that, and I mean I support the measures that are being taken, but I mean it's very much, as I say, trying to pump taxpayers' money into repairing something that the government policy itself is damaging.
All right. Will you address the rally on Saturday in Athlone?
I hope to. I hope to be one of the speakers as well. I think Independent Ireland has said that all MEPs are invited and all will be given the opportunity to speak. I certainly will be going, and if given the opportunity, I will be speaking, and I look forward to addressing people on something that I believe is very important to our future. But it's not just farmers; it's also consumers, and it's also the direction that the European Union has been moving in with agricultural policy, with its health policy, with consumer policy for decades now. To just throw that all out the window because we need to sell a few German cars strikes me as short-sighted. All
right, good to talk to you today, Michael. Thanks for your time.
Thanks very much, friend. Thank you.
Good morning to you. That is MEP for Ireland South's Independent Michael McNamara speaking to us there. 1800 938 007. The text and WhatsApp 083 311 3311.
Tipp FM's Tipp Today.
With Slattery's Garage, puck on. It's time to change. Test drive the award-winning range of Peugeot hybrids and fully electric vehicles at Slattery's Garage today. See slatterysgarage.ie.
Join the conversation in Tipperary. Contact us through Facebook, Twitter, or email tiptoday@tippfm.com.
Yeah, listener telling me that my tat, how cool are we? Tat. My tat is on my chest as I was working a suit and tie at the time, and it couldn't be seen. And yeah, that's kind of interesting, isn't it, as to how acceptable it is to have tattoos. Now, years ago, it wasn't. I mean, if you were trying to get a job in a bank or some other kind of institution, it might be difficult if you had visible tattoos. Now, that seems to have changed, but anyway, let's go to the phone lines, the dreaded phone lines. Let's see if they're working. Because my good friend Bonnie Hayes is in Clough-Jordan. Good morning to you, Bonnie.
Morning, Fran. How are you?
I'm very well indeed. Stress levels this morning rather up with technology going wrong and all of that. Bonnie, can I say to you, and please will you take this with the greatest of respect, but of all the people I know, I wouldn't have said you're a man that would have tattoos, but you do.
Yeah, thanks for that, Fran. Yeah, I do, yeah. Well, to be honest with you, all my life I wanted one. And I was in my 70s when it eventually happened.
Were you?
I used to be saying this to the boys here, my two lads, Tom and Sean, and one of them gave me a voucher then to go to Galway and have one done. So the gun was kind of put to my head then, so off I went, and I had it done, yeah. Now, the tattoos I would have all related to some events in my life, Yeah. I wouldn't get one done willy-nilly or anything like that. And I don't think most people would, to be honest with you. So yeah, it was based on when I had major heart surgery in 2010.
Yeah.
And I based it on that. And the other ones I got since were all based on different events in my life, whether it was losing people or, things like that, in remembrance of them.
Why did it take you so long to
I don't know, friend, to be honest with you. But I suppose one of the reasons, tattoo parlours or these places weren't as plentiful as they are now. I mean, I go to that guy in Nina now, and I've got a few done from him. As I said, the others got it done in Galway, the first two. But yeah, you can, major towns on Limerick, you can get them done. They're much more plentiful, I think, anyway.
Yeah,
there's a demand for it, obviously.
There is, and I mean, the old image of the tattoo parlour being a dark, dingy sort of, that's all gone out. You want to see this place in Clonmel? It's like
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're lovely places now, and these guys, when they're working on you for an hour and a half or 2 hours, they're chatting away to you, and it's hard work. I mean, I remember asking the guy in Ian one time, what is the biggest one he ever done? He said he spent 8 hours at it.
Wow.
And with very small breaks in between, and that's ferocious concentration, as you know, for what they do. But,
do you view it as art, by the way?
Yeah, I would. I
Would
would,
you?
friend.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
actually. I would. Yeah. And I when we see people walking around and have different tattoos, and I put my life on it. I put a fair bit of it on it. That most of them have a reason for whatever got done. Very few would get it done. I'd say willy-nilly type of thing.
Yeah, while I was in the tattoo parlour, if you can still call it a parlour, there was a guy, I think he was a Polish lad, I think Daniel was his name, but he was getting really extensive stuff done on his legs. He already had lots of tats, but the work that went in and the colours, and it was just extraordinary, really extraordinary.
Oh, fantastic, yeah, fantastic. Now, I wouldn't go to the extent to something on the top of my head or the back of my neck or my legs. No. I have very little space left in my arms now, and I might do one or two. I have an idea for one, but I designed some of them myself. I designed some of them, and the lads took it on from there and done a transfer of it. But no, I wouldn't do too many more, I think.
Right, okay, but you designed them yourself. That's interesting.
Well, I did a few of them. I just did a few of them, Fran, yeah. I did a few of them myself, and he took it from there,
Yeah. And are people surprised that you have tattoos?
There might be, yeah. There might be, yeah. Some people, you don't see them until summertime, maybe when you're wearing the short sleeves or something like that,
Yeah.
During this time of the year, nobody ever sees them hardly. They might be a bit surprised, but they wouldn't say it to you directly. But they might show, or they might want to have a look at them and ask you, what's the reason for that and what's that. And I have the names of some people that I lost on two of them,
Yeah, and what does that do for you? Having the names of people who have passed away.
It reminds you more often of those people when you'd be, when you'd see it. It would. Those people who meant a lot to you it would come back to you more often, I think.
Yes, so it's about memories and all of that.
Yeah, it's about memories, Fred. Yeah, it is.
It's very interesting.
Fond memories of those people,
But I am right in saying, though, Bonnie, that back in our day, often, it was frowned upon to have a tattoo if you were looking for
it was. Oh, Gene, it was.
Yeah.
You were a different class citizen altogether, I think, if you had a tattoo. I mean, there's something in that now with the Gardaí. It can't be visible or something. Is that right?
Well, it certainly used to be the case that it couldn't be visible. You're dead right on that, yeah.
I remember seeing some bit of a clip there on social media lately of a guard, and he had, to wear the short sleeve shorts, but his arm, he had a lovely sleeve on his arm, but obviously that's okay now,
Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure. And we can't now. I know that because memories are coming back to me. You and I would have spoken about this some years ago. But we put this up as a kind of I won't say a throwaway thing, but just a kind of lighthearted thing. The interest in and the amount of views that it got since I put up the tattoo image is incredible.
Really?
Huge,
I remember
huge interest.
Looking in it there now. I didn't read them all since, but there is, like I said a while ago, friend, there is a huge interest in it, obviously. When you're walking around every day, especially in the summer, you see a lad with his leg or maybe the back of his neck or something. I just wonder, as young lads, young fellas, they all seem to be quite young fellas. Definitely, I said to the guy when I went in the first time, I said, I'm sure you don't have too many in my age group. Oh, yeah, he says, we do. We have lots, he said, coming in still, middle-aged, elderly people coming in, having those on you. You're not alone, he said, and in that respect,
Yeah, it's interesting.
So it seems to be across all age groups, and I think, as I said, there's demand, obviously, when they're in every town now, there's a demand for that business.
Well, it seems to be the case, for sure. Bonnie, a happy new year to you, and great to talk to you as always. Thank you for coming on.
And to you, Fran, and all viewers, and all in Tipp FM.
Thank you, good morning to you. That's the great Bonnie Hayes there in Clough this morning with his tattoos, or his tats. Now, yesterday, Fine Gael TD and chairperson of the Oireachtas Transport Committee, Michael Murphy, joined us on the show to discuss issues Well, he discussed several things with us, but at one point we did discuss the difficulties on the roads. Well, Richard Wood was listening to that and was in touch, and he joins me now. Richard, good morning to you.
Morning, Fran. Happy New Year to you and your listeners.
And many happy returns to you. Great to talk to you, Richard. You sent us in a message, and you describe the vans on the road as the revenue vans. And you speak about a particular area that they're in all of the time, Richard.
Yeah, that's correct. Well, I live just off of what would have been the old N8 between Junction 7 and Ladies Well Street in Cashel.
The old Dublin Road, as we would know it, Richard,
the
is it?
old Dublin Road, as you and I would know it, and which would, until the motorway was built, was always a national road and would have had 100 kilometres per hour speed limit.
Yes.
And that was conveniently dropped back then to 80 kilometres an hour when they lowered the status of the road when the motorway was built. The road is as big and as wide as ever, but now it's supposed to be only an 80 kilometre an hour road, and it is literally haunted by the speed van. If not every second day, sometimes it could be every day.
And do you see this as fish in a barrel sort of a situation, Richard?
Absolutely. Like, I'm living on that road since 1994. Now, thankfully, the last fatality on that road was in 2002, when a misfortunate man got killed. But the accident actually, would you believe, happened within sight of the Texaco station.
Right, so very close to the town.
Right at the town at the time. And I'm all in favour of road safety, but I really don't see that putting resources into these vans and landing them in places like this on such a constant basis is of any addition whatsoever.
So that's not an accident black spot,
no,
to say the least. Okay. Right.
Once upon a time, 40 years ago, when it was the main road, there was an accident black spot sign on the horse and jockey side of the motel. Yes,
I remember. After the bad bend there, was it?
Yeah. All that time ago. That sign is gone. Hasn't been there since I've been living on the road, but I was familiar with the road anyway, no more than you were yourself. But, it is just a revenue collection thing. You see the Gardaí putting stuff up on Facebook now, and you can see, anyone who reads it can see how effective their actual physical stops are on the road, where they're catching people for insurance, for drug driving, for drink driving, for all sorts of stuff. But these, as I call them, the revenue vans, people slow down coming to it, they pass it off, and then they put the boot down again, and that's it.
So from a road safety point of view, you think it's not effective?
It's a waste of resources, I think. Well, it probably isn't, because strangers probably get caught there all right. They might come around the bend, and sure, if they're doing 90k, they're caught, or doing 85 kilometres an hour, they're caught. But the road is perfectly good enough for 100 kilometres an hour. I mean, you go to the other side of the roundabout, you're on the same road, it's 100 kilometres an hour there. So really, I think I'd be kind of, I'd be jaundiced of a lot of the things that government are doing at the minute and not doing. But I'd be agreeing with Michael Murphy when he says, in what he had to say to you yesterday, and resources could be way better spent for trying to improve road safety.
And you'd spend it on the traffic policing themselves, would you, on the Gardaí?
I think that's where it should be going, absolutely. Yeah. You can't beat the presence of people physically in a place. And a lot of what goes on out our way as well, particularly over Christmas now, it was like Formula 1 racing between Junction 7 and Junction 8 at night time.
On the motorway itself, is it?
Yeah, you could hear it. I can hear the motorway very clear from my house. And lads were going down and they were flattening it from Junction 7 to Junction 8. And you'd know by the sound of them a lot of high-powered stuff.
Right.
But
so
in general,
that's what we should be policing. Is that what you're saying, Richard?
Yeah. That's it. Like, if there's resources there for road safety measures, it should be given to the actual Gardaí, not to these vans that are just sitting in places for hours. Now, funnily enough, whether somebody heard my comment being read out or not yesterday, it was the shortest stay it ever had that I can remember outside on the road yesterday morning. It was gone by 10:30.
Was it? Right.
Now normally, when I'd be coming into work in the morning, it would be there. Well, I generally get a text off of someone who goes to town earlier than me to say the van is there. And it could be there up to 12 or 12:30. So it could give 3.5, 4 hours there.
Yeah, is it? But I'm trying to rack my brains. Was there not a lot of talk about that stretch of road at one point, Richard, and it was going to go from 80 back up to 100? Well, did that ever come to pass?
I think what that was originally, you see, Ballysheehan and all that area was put down to 80 kilometres as well.
All right. So it's the other side there.
So the other side of the roundabout was put back up to the speed limit it had when it was a national road.
Right.
But this stretch was left at 80. And in actual fact, the funny part of it is, from my experience of going in and out the road every day, they'd be fair if may have some bit of an effect between Cashel and the motorway, because to me the fastest traffic is the traffic heading out to the motorway. People generally coming in aren't going that fast anyway. If there's a real speeding issue, it would be going in the opposite direction, which is no good because the van is facing to catch people coming to town, not coming from town.
It's very... Now, be careful what you wish for, because they could be listening again today.
Well, I mean, it doesn't bother me. Anyway, the whole place is so open that unless you have your eyes closed, you see them a mile off anyway.
Of course, yeah.
But
yeah.
I really think that the money needs to be spent, the resources given to the Gardaí themselves. I don't think that this kind of thing is effective. It definitely is probably washing its face money-wise, but is it doing anything for road safety? I doubt it very much.
All right, well, great to talk to you, Richard.
Knows where they are. They're in the one place all the time.
Right.
There was one other little thing, if you have time there.
Sure, yeah.
Your last participant, person yesterday, was talking about international stuff and that, and you agreed with him that everyone is entitled to their opinion and that. Mm-hmm. But he threw out the usual flippant comment that Trump is destroying the American economy. Mm. You know, and I find a lot of times on a lot of programs, people throw out this anti-Trump stuff and without a whole lot to back it up. I mean, he may be not a very nice character and a bit vulgar and brash and that, but you know, you come on and you say things like he's crashing their economy, like, and everyone is supposed to just take it for granted. Like, I mean, the increase in working population alone since he took over is in excess of 2.5 million people extra are working in America in 2025 compared to 2024. That doesn't sound like an economy that's been crashed to me, does it to you?
Well, it doesn't, but I know the prices are on the rise very much there, and you know there's a slowdown in terms of workers being hired and that kind of thing.
The figures don't stand up to that. The cost of fuel now in some states in America is below $2 a gallon, whereas we're paying in Ireland nearly €8 a gallon.
Of course, but it was always the case that it was remarkably cheaper in the States. Always, Richard, wasn't that always the?
But the inflation rates or anything in the last 4 or 5 years aren't anything that would be crashing in the economy. I just find that a lot of people get away easy with this, that it's very easy to be anti-Trump without backing it up. And I find it even in my own conversations with people. And I'd ask them, well, give me an example of what you think he's doing that's not wrong or that's not right, that could be done better. And a lot of the times you just get a blank stare and that's it.
And do you find in conversation in general that there's not a balance there? Is that?
Oh, I find it I find it not alone a balance, but people can't back up why they just have this feeling, well, everyone doesn't like him, so I'm not going to like him. And no matter what he does, he's wrong. It's like what's going on in Venezuela. And I can't think of his name. Is it Pfefferman now? The Democratic, a Democratic senator is actually talking about it himself, that the Democrats are giving out about what he did in Venezuela, but yet Joe Biden put a $25 million bounty on Maduro's head.
Yeah.
So why was that okay? And now it's easy to put a bounty across on someone if you think no one is going to act on it. It's only semantics. But then when someone acts on it, he's completely wrong. That's what I find the double standard there. That there's no balance to say, is he right or is he wrong? And he's wrong on some things, he's right on others. But there's an awful cohort out there that no matter what he does, he's wrong. And
how do you? I mean, at the top of your comments about him, you said he's brash and he can be vulgar and that sort of thing. In general, what would you think about his actions?
Well, in general, in politics in general, I think when you look at our country here, we've politicians, but we've no leaders. I mean, look at yesterday when you were talking to Michael Murphy, and I'm sure they probably weren't too pleased that he put it out there that, well, from what he could gather, Ireland would vote against Mercosur, but only when they'd look up and see what others were doing. Like, if it's right, it's right, and if it's wrong, it's wrong. I think we have...
yeah, but Richard, you have to be... I mean, you know from your own family background, you have to be pragmatic in politics as well, do you not?
Yeah, but there's pragmatism and then there's just being subservient. And I think the problem we have with Ireland in particular is that Micheál Martin and Simon Harris are enthralled to von der Leyen for every single thing she puts forward.
Yeah. That's what Michael McNamara was saying this morning as well.
Will the demonstration even go ahead on Saturday? Because the government have now come out and said they are definitely voting against Mercosur.
Yeah.
According to the headlines there earlier on, but...
Yeah. Well, that was in their programme for government, so
their behaviour makes them look weak when it comes to stuff like... I mean, if you want to get support for a thing, Ireland should have been one of the first out there trying to drum up support from other countries to back him in it, instead of saying, oh, we'll wait and we'll see, and if there's enough saying no, well, then we won't look as bad when we say no.
Yeah, but Richard, does the discussion on Mercosur not sort of fall into a similar situation as Trump, in that we're hearing sort of largely one side of it? We're not hearing about the possible benefits. Now, I know I'm going to get shot for this, but anyway, the possible benefits of a deal with such a big trading bloc.
But here's the thing. When any politicians have been on any of the programmes, none of them have actually outlined what they see as being the benefits for Ireland out of it.
Yeah.
Because while there's absolute benefits for certain countries in it, what are we going to sell to Brazil, for example? Where is the advantage in us allowing this deal to go through?
Well, seemingly, the agri-food sector could benefit hugely from it.
I mean, in what way, like?
Well, in terms of export, I suppose, Richard.
Like, they're hardly going to be buying butter and everything in off of Ireland in Brazil when we're reducing our national herbs and they're increasing theirs.
Right.
So their agriculture is going to get stronger and stronger as a result.
And the Irish produce is premier produce, so it's expensive. Is that what you're saying? So
yeah, and like, I mean, the general population in Brazil wouldn't have the standard of living that we'd have in Europe.
Yeah.
So they won't be buying premium product. So where are you going to sell it to? And I don't know did I say it before, but I copped this thing a good few years ago, even when this Mercosur thing was mentioned first. The road transport and everything in Brazil, the vast majority of the vehicles on the road doing road transport and all in South America are German built. They're either MAN diesel from the VAG group, which is Volkswagen, or the Mercedes. So the big winner out of this is Germany.
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, they'll be able to sell more of their cars there for sure, and it's a huge market for them. Yeah?
As you said yourself, I couldn't see Ireland selling our premium products. And of course, I mean, you have the other ridiculous part of it, that farmers went to jail in Ireland for hormone abuse in cattle.
Yeah.
And now we have this. I mean, the Farmers Journal already proved it, that there's beef coming into Europe from Brazil.
And getting under the radar, so to speak, on it as well. Yeah, it's very interesting. Richard, really interesting conversation as always with you. But great to talk to you. Happy New Year, Richard.
No bother. Thank you very much. Happy New Year. Bye now.
Bye-bye. You know, Richard Wood there in Cashel. News and information is coming up.
Tipp FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, puck on. It's time to change. Test drive the award-winning range of Peugeot hybrids and fully electric vehicles at Slattery's Garage today. See slatterysgarage.ie.
Tipp FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, puck on. Over half a century driving the people of Tipperary and surrounding areas with quality, reliable and economical vehicles. New and used. Call the sales team today to discuss your next car or van on 067 24 111.
Thanks, Pat. Welcome back to the final hour of Tip Today. Still on the subject of tattoos. Jimmy was on to us with us, and he said, Fran, my girlfriend was getting a tattoo, but she wouldn't get Jimmy forever on it. So I suggested she get Jimmy for the time being. How did that work out, Jimmy? How did that work out? You might like to let us know there as well. And again, some amazing images coming into us of tattoos. Alex the Lion King is on one person's arm as a kind of a is that an arm or a leg? I'm not sure. As a sleeve. But again, the colours and the artwork, absolutely fantastic. Look, we will get back to the subject soon. But on to a different tack now, because the most popular baby names in Ireland for 2026 are being predicted. We can expect to see some classic Irish names rising up the charts. Sporting stars and TV characters, as well as pop stars, are set to influence the names of babies across Ireland in 2026, according to recent research undertaken by My Name Tags. And Mohammed Khan from My Name Tags joins me now. Mohammed, good morning to you.
Good morning. Hello. Hi there.
First of all, I'm intrigued by your company, My Name Tags. What exactly do you do?
We're actually the market leader and manufacturers of name labels for more than 20 years now. Name labels are mostly used for school uniforms, school items as well as care homes too.
All right. Okay. Very interesting indeed. But it's going well for you.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's going really great. Names is actually quite central. This is the most important thing for the label, is to actually have a name on it.
Of course, and that brings us to the research that you've sponsored as well. So tell me, what about the big ones for this year in terms of names? Baby boy, first of all, what is happening out there?
Okay, so we have new names. Well, not new, but I mean raising names. We have Troy. Looks like it has a good future in the names list, which is inspired by Troy Parrott.
Mm-hmm.
With
the soccer player,
the last
yes.
Qualifying games.
Mm-hmm.
Followed by the two amazing golf players, Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry as well. They both did amazing at the Ryder's Cup. That's for the sports part of the boys' names. Yeah, these are the top. They have great potential in rising in terms of the lists.
All right, so we've got Troy, we've got Rory, and we've got Shane. Anything else in there from sporting people or from famous people?
We have on the girls' side, we have Kelly from the Traitors Island. That's more of a TV pop star thing. We can go back to the sports with Seamus, the Ireland football captain. We also have a few other names. Isabel from the Summer Turned Pretty TV series. We also have Powdy from also back again to the Traders Island.
Oh, Paddy Maloney, yes, yeah.
Yes, yeah. We have actual quite solid original name, which is a Liam from the famous Oasis, based on, I think, based on the gig from the summer 2025.
Of course.
Quite a refresher. Back also to the sports. We have Katrina. It's Katrina inspired by that Katrina Jennings from who's a 100-mile.
Oh, the long distance runner. And what's interesting about that, Mohammed, is that the spelling of it is C-A-I-T or I-O-N-A. So it's a different spelling of it as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's So some I think I've did a bit of research, and some actually also choose to keep it as Katriona while mostly it's Katrina.
Yeah, it's interesting, but it's what drives the popularity of a name, though, is what intrigues me. That it's literally as simple as, a sports star who's doing well and say, oh yeah, I like that, Troy. Let's go with that.
Yeah, it's quite. Yeah, I've also been thinking about it. I think it's a mix of all. I think it's a mix of some kind of also home and loyalty plus being proud of an achievement. Also, I think it's all connections. It all gets connected in the mind.
Yeah, because when Pope John Paul came to Ireland back in 1979, I mean, anytime I meet somebody who's called John Paul now, inevitably, I say, were you born around then, so it sort of marks people out. What about the old traditional names? Because they made a comeback for a while. I'm thinking about the likes of Jack and Paddy and Maggie and Lily and all of that. They don't show up in your list all that much.
No, they don't. So it looks like parents are now more being, I wouldn't say influenced, but inspired by current sporting TV personalities and pop stars.
Yeah, it's very interesting indeed. And any other surprises in there for us?
I think these are the ones that I've mentioned. I think they're we've quite expected them. It wasn't surprises, but it's interesting, I would say. They're all interesting.
All right. Can people go online and have a look at your research?
Yes, we can share. You can go to our website. We're going to add the link to it on the blog section. But our website is mynametags.ie.
All right. Okay. Really good to talk to you, and Happy New Year to you and to everybody at your company as well. Thanks, Mohammed, and good morning to you. That's Mohammed Khan from My Name Tags there with that research. How do you feel about that? Do you like that name, Troy, for a boy? Or Rory? Well, Shane is one that's been popular for years anyway. And for a girl, then Kelly from the Traitors programme there. Kelly seems to be popular. And the spelling of that is Kelley. Well, there you go. Tracy joins me now. Tracy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Fran. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's lovely to talk to you, and Happy New Year to you as well, Tracy.
And many happy returns.
You have 4 tattoos.
I do, yeah. I have, my first one was my star sign, different type of my star sign near my ankle. And then I had an eye on my wrist.
An eye?
A blue eye. Blue eye, yeah.
Why?
I don't know, I just like blue eyes.
That's enough for me. Okay, so that's 2 of them. Yeah. What about the other 2?
And then I have an R on my right hand because I am a bit direction dyslexic, but my daughter's also Ruby.
All right, so but the R is largely for your right hand, is that it?
Yeah, especially when I'm driving.
Very good, okay. And did you tell me the 4th one?
The biggest one is my 4th one. I got it for my 40th. It's a bit morbid now. It's death holding the world, and wrote underneath it, the only certainty in life is death.
Wow. Melancholy or what, Tracy?
I don't know. I before I get a tattoo, I have to have a thought about it for at least a year before I even think about putting it on my skin. So I was thinking of that one for quite a long time.
Okay.
And when I went to the tattoo artist, they wrote it up, and we chose from a few different pictures. They took my ideas, and but I don't know why, but because the only certain thing in life is death. You will die eventually, so
okay.
That's the theory behind it.
And would you describe the image? And you say, well, it's like that image of the Grim Reaper or something, is it?
Yes, basically the Grim Reaper with his scythe, holding his scythe in his right hand and the world in his left.
That's scary, Tracy.
A little bit. I can send in a picture.
Please do. I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
Interesting. And where is that? Where have you that?
That's on my right calf.
On your right calf. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And when...
That's something that's seen very often.
Well, it's probably could be just as well.
Oh, actually, I have 5 tattoos. I forgot. I have a rose on the back of my neck.
You forgot about that one, did you?
Yeah, I don't see it every day.
Was that your first one?
No, that was actually my second one. I got that after a cousin of mine was killed in a car accident, and his favourite flower was a rose.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, there's a kind of a better reason behind that one.
Right, very good. And what age were you when you got your first one?
I think I was in my 20s, in my early 20s.
Okay. And were people against the notion of you getting it, were they?
My parents were a bit shocked, but they got over it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to tease out. The attitude to tattoos, has that changed over the time?
It has changed. Like, years ago, you like, there's a reason I got most of my tattoos are where you can really hide them.
Mm.
Especially if you're working with a uniform or anything like that, they're not seen as easy. Even if I had to have my arms up at work, I used to have to put a plaster over them to cover them working in hotels.
Now, was that your decision or was that imposed on you by management?
It was asked by management to cover it up, yeah.
Wow. How things have changed.
Now they don't mind. It's become a common thing. Most people have tattoos.
Yeah, the quality of the work as well has really improved.
Oh, it has really improved massively. Massively. I had the one on the eye was very basic when I first got it done, and now I had it redone since, and it's much better looking.
Oh, tell me about that. So you had it redone on top of the existing one?
Yeah. Oh. Just basically the same kind of thing around it, but made it kind of a bit more realistic, if that makes sense.
Oh, I didn't even realise you could do that.
Like a drawing of it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can add on to a tattoo. You can... Like, I have friends with a whole sleeves, everything. I have a friend with tattoos on his head. Actually, his tattoos are very cool. And see if I can get photos of them.
On his head?
On his head, yeah.
Why?
I can't remember exactly what he has on his head, but it is really cool looking.
Yeah, but you see, these neck ones, like snake ones up to... I wonder, if you get to 80 or something like that, would you kind of regret it?
Yeah, I that's what I worry about with the likes of the neck and that. And that's why most of my tattoos are fairly small. Because when your skin does, the elasticity goes out of your skin, it will look a bit odd, I'd imagine. And the only other thing, when I was getting the first tattoo, I also got my belly button pierced that then as well.
Oh, stop. How painful was that?
Not at all, actually.
Was it not?
I don't find even tattoos painful. Even the one on my leg now, I was there for 4 hours getting it done, and it wasn't that bad at all.
Yeah, you see, I'm a big wuss. That's what it is. You see, you're used to pain. Women are used to pain,
I'm used to pain. I have pain nearly every day, so needles don't bother me at all.
Would you get more? Do you think? Will you get more of these?
Maybe. I haven't any planned as of yet, but we'll see how I feel as I get older.
Leanne was telling me you have a New Year's resolution, Tracy.
I do.
What is it?
I've actually 2.
Have you? Right.
Yeah, one is actually to pay my bills properly this year and setting up standing orders or weekly payments for them on the day where I get paid.
So they'll be taken out...
Just literally taking out my money before I get to do anything with it.
And that'll help you with budgeting and stuff, will it?
Yeah, exactly. That means that my bills are paid before I get a chance to do anything, and I then will know exactly what I have every week. Because my bills will be paid.
You're right. I had to do that with my credit card because it was just crazy stuff, So.
I do that now with my electricity, my bins, and I'm going to see what we need to do. The car tax in Ireland. I think there should be a weekly payment option on that.
That's a very good idea, and there's not
more people would pay it.
There's not an option on that, is there? No.
No, there isn't. No, and if you're
you can get it for 3 months or something, can you?
3 months, yeah, but that's not even at that. That's 100 and something a go, depending on the car you have.
I suppose one of our listeners says now, listening to Tracy, Fran is going to be getting a piercing next week. There is no way in the world am I getting a piercing. Don't be giving ideas to Ali and to Leanne, though. No.
The only thing I would never get pierced is my tongue.
You see, this is live radio, and sometimes I need a sedative afterwards because I never know what exactly people are going to say to me. So your tongue, you wouldn't get your tongue pierced, no?
No, because you ruin your teeth.
Okay. Right.
And I'm bad enough as I am but with my Sjogren's, that causes issues with my teeth, so I don't need to be causing more.
Right, so it's not for you. Did you get good news as well, Leanne?
I did. My brother and his wife, my brother Edward and Elaine, his wife, had a baby girl just about half an hour ago.
Ah, fantastic.
We don't know the name yet.
Right, okay.
But that's my first niece.
Oh, isn't that gorgeous? All right. Well, tell her we were talking about the name Kelly today. Seems to be very popular around the country.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they pick.
Won't it?
There's two in mind apparently, but we don't know yet.
Yeah. Well, isn't that great news altogether?
Yeah.
What did you make of Christmas and New Year and all of that? Was it very quiet? Did it all happen very quickly this year?
It was quickly and it was quiet. Now again, I was sick at the New Year again.
Were you? Oh no.
Yeah. As per usual with me, like, I don't know, did I eat something funny or what it is, but Sunday morning then I woke up in severe pain and ended up having to call an ambulance.
Oh,
and they were quite quick to get out to us, funny enough now. And the doctor I met in Clonmel was lovely, apart from the surgeon. The surgeon just didn't want me there. He was like, okay, you stomach flu.
Stomach flu?
Stomach flu.
And is that part of the various flus that were going around the place at Christmas?
Quite possibly. You see, with me, it could be something I ate that caused me to be sick.
Right.
Like, over Christmas, we were eating out an awful lot more, which I wouldn't be used to.
Right, okay. So did you end up in hospital?
Yeah, I was there for the whole day on Sunday.
Right. But I
was at home Sunday evening.
They looked after you, okay?
They did. Now, there was one incident there which I ended up having to get onto, do you know, your service, your say, where a member of staff, there was a lady cleaning the floor and she had a wet floor sign at the bottom of my trolley, and a member of staff came over and kicked it and sent it flying across my trolley.
Oh, God.
And it frightened the life out of me, and then started laughing about it, saying to her, pick it up. And then they all started laughing over it. And I was sitting there going, oh, my God. And if I said something, I'd be the one getting in trouble. So I said nothing. And I waited till the nurse came up to me and I said to her,
so for a change, you said nothing, Tracy? For a change, I said nothing, yes.
I kept my mouth shut. I was really in shock, though.
Very, very odd incident indeed. Tracy, it's lovely to talk to you as always.
But I got an apology anyway from the hospital. Did you?
Oh, good.
The end of the story. So it turned out good, and maybe it'll make them more aware of these things happening.
Yeah, for sure.
But I hope it's not a regular occurrence.
Yeah. It's a very strange one, isn't it?
I forgot to tell you my other New Year's resolutions: to eat breakfast.
Eat breakfast? Why, you don't eat breakfast, do you?
No, I'm brutal. Yeah. Absolutely brutal.
I'm not good at it myself now, I must admit.
I started with, my partner got me a smoothie maker, do you know, a singular one?
Yeah.
And I started with that, making a smoothie today. I made a banana, a strawberry with kefir and a bit of honey in it, and it was lovely. And I'm going to try tomorrow, put a bit of oats into it and make it a bit more filling.
I went down that track a few years ago, and I thought it was doing great and it was real healthy. And then somebody told me that because you put it in the smoothie maker, you're turning it into pure sugar. Yeah. So I don't know.
But to me, it's better than absolutely nothing.
I would imagine so. So you're going to look after yourself now.
It itself has protein and, you know.
Yeah.
And I looked up a good few recipes, because there's other ones you can make. You can make them with fruit or vegetables and everything. I'm not so sure on that one now.
Yeah.
But
you'll be the picture of health by the end of the year, you know that.
Hopefully. Well, being sick, I lost nearly 11 pounds whilst I was sick. So
God, you must have been extremely sick.
New Year.
Yeah, you poor thing.
Yeah,
will you send us in pictures of the tats, will you?
I will. I'll try and get someone to get a picture of the one on the neck.
Oh, yeah, the guy with the one on his head. That'll be great. Tracy, look after yourself, and thanks very much indeed. Thank you.
Right, no
Good morning, Duff. Bye-bye, Gina. That's Tracy there. All right, we'll take a break back in just a moment.
Tipp FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage Puckon. Now is the time to pick up your next van. From the award-winning Peugeot Partner van to the expert and the load-lugging Boxer van. We have big vans, high-roof vans, long wheelbase vans. You'll find them all at Slattery's Garage Puckon. See slatterysgarage.ie.
Tipp FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage Puckon. It's time to change. Test drive the award-winning range of Peugeot hybrids and fully electric vehicles at Slattery's Garage today. See slatterysgarage.ie.
Jimmy is in great form today in Thurles, because I was speaking to Muhammad Khan a while ago, and we were talking about popular babies' names this year, and he was telling us various different names. But anyway, Jimmy figures that this year, Mercosur is going to be huge. So, I wonder how would that sound. Mercosur curry, come in and have your tea. Come in off the lawn there and have your tea. Mercosur. It doesn't have a ring to it. Jimmy, I think. At a time when pubs are closing in their droves and the whole social scene in rural areas supposedly on its knees, a carpenter from Ballingarry has taken a significant leap of business faith to resurrect his local pub. Now, following 6 long years without the noise of laughter or glasses clinking, the official reopening of Noonan's pub took place recently, and the carpenter in question is Richard King, who joins me now. Richard, good morning to you.
Good morning, Fran. How are you?
I'm well indeed, and congratulations to you on opening the pub. You have a family connection with the pub, though.
I do, yes. It was my aunt and uncle's pub. They took it over back in '96, and 2 of them unfortunately had passed away from cancer. The pub closed in 2019, and we reopened it in October, and we had the official reopening there in early December.
Now, your expertise is in carpentry. Do you have any background in running a pub, Richard?
No. I worked a night or 2 here and there for aunt and uncle, but other than that, now it'd be very limited.
Yeah. So why did you decide to do this then?
Loads of people often said it to us that it's a shame to see the pub closed, and it was always a nice, cosy, family-run pub. It was something, and myself and my father, then we had a chat one evening and we sussed out numbers and we said we'd give it a go and see how it goes.
It's brilliant. Now, you were in a lucky enough position because I don't think the pub had deteriorated an awful lot. I mean, it was in pretty good shape.
It was, yeah. For something that was closed for 6.5 years, it was in excellent condition, thank God.
Yeah. And since you officially opened, how are you getting on? How is business?
It's very good, yeah. It's been better than we expected and thought. It could be even. There's Garteen Agricultural College is only down the road.
Yeah.
And the students there, they've been very good to us, and they're up a good few nights of the week.
Isn't it great? And do local people now realise that, you know, if you don't use it, you lose it, and that if we want to keep our local pubs, we have to at least go in and have a cup of coffee or something?
Yeah, and in fairness, the locals have been brilliant to us since we have opened. And like that, without them, you wouldn't be able to stay going. So it's a massive thanks to all the locals.
Are you doing food there as well?
No, we are not. It's just a pub.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, and it's kind of a family affair, isn't it? Because, you know, certainly family helping out anyway.
Oh, yeah, big time. Like, it's myself and my father kind of in it together, but then we wouldn't be able to do it without help. My partner, my mother and my sister helped there as well. So it's a family-run business still.
Did you ever think of changing the name, Noonan's Pub?
No, never. It was always known as Noonan's, and it will always be known as Noonan's.
Right. So, King's Pub, even though King's Pub has a great ring to it as well.
It does, and Jim Noonan was his name as well, so...
Yeah. That's great, yeah.
No,
So have you given up the carpentry, or are you doing both, or...?
No, I'm doing both, yeah. Kitchen fitting really is what I'm at.
Is it, yeah?
So still at that.
And how is that business working? How is that going?
Very busy as well, yeah. It's going great at the minute, thank God.
Right, and you know, pub life is very difficult, as I'm sure you're aware, with, you know, late nights and all of that.
Yeah, no, it is, and like that, as I said, without family, it wouldn't be possible.
Yeah.
So it's a massive thanks to them as well. You know that I don't have to be there every night in the pub.
Very good. And have you plans for Noonan's then for the future as well, Richard?
Yeah, look, it's something that we're looking into, maybe kind of opening earlier and doing coffee and stuff like that from the morning onwards. You know, it's a distant thought at the minute, but something that's very realistic as well.
Because I think your mum is handy enough with the food, isn't she?
She's not bad, no, she's not bad.
Yeah, I believe she's good with the finger food and all of that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, you might be able to rope her in. You never know. Richard, I'm delighted when I hear about a place like yours opening? Because I know up near where I live we have Jerry Jack's now, and you know Willie Crowe came back there recently. There's a restaurant there, and he opened Bertie's in Dundrum as well. It's great to see it because they're a real hub for local community, you know.
They are, yeah. And look, it's a lot. Like, we've seen people that wouldn't have seen each other for a long time in the pub, hugging and getting emotional early when we reopened. It was lovely to see.
Brilliant altogether. Well, look, lovely to talk to you, and we wish you the very best. And I hope to drop in for a pint sometime, but I won't bring Johnny Luby with me. I just won't.
You're all right. Everyone's more than welcome.
All right, Richard, thank you and good morning to you. Well done. Thank you. That's Richard King there from Noonan's Pub in Ballingarry. Drop on by, have a pint there and say hello from us, won't you? All right, let us go to a gentleman who is heavily covered in tattoos because Mark is with me. Good morning to you, Mark.
Morning, Fran. How are you?
I'm very well indeed. I'm just looking here. Leanne put up the pictures of your tattoo. You literally are covered in them. How many tattoos have you? Or can you even judge that at this point?
I don't think I can judge, no.
Because they're all melting into one another, aren't they?
They are. I have 2 full arm sleeves done, top to bottom. All top of my chest is done, down one side of my stomach, full back. 1 full leg and 3/4 of the other leg is done. So I'm actually booked in tomorrow for a tattoo. So
it's incredible. But I'm just looking. It's in front of me here, the work, and it's so artistic. I mean, it really is wonderful.
Yeah, to be honest, my original tattoo artist was Joe Myler below in Watford. Joe is dead now at about 5-6 years, to be honest. So I'm with Matthew Phelan now, Quest Tattoo in Thurles there.
Right.
Matthew is top notch, to be honest. So
it's just I can't get over. You see the ones on your ankle. It's so intricate.
Yeah. So this is kind of was my last. This leg I'm actually in the middle of now is kind of my last big piece that I have left on my body. So we're kind of went Egyptian themed with it. So he's putting in so much effort into this now because it's my last big tattoo. Like, so if you actually, I'd say if you look at it a couple of times, you'll still see a new spot on it that you haven't seen before. You know, everything is just so intricate in it and so detailed. So
what is the other one? Is that a tiger? Is that what I'm looking at?
There's a tiger on the other leg there. Yes, more Japanese style.
And again, it's just so artistic and so. And the reason you say it's your last is it because you're running out of space?
I'm running out of space, yeah. There's not a whole pile left now, to be honest. So.
Right. Now, I don't have a picture of your head, or do I? Oh, yeah, you have. Is it the back of your head there, do I see?
No, to be honest, it just barely comes up on my neck.
Oh, does
it? To be honest,
okay.
if anyone to bump into me, would say dressed as such, they wouldn't know how heavily tattooed I am, like, you know, so...
It's incredible. It's all your back is done. Have you estimated how much this has cost you?
No, I don't want to know. No, I don't. I haven't, to be honest, Fran. No, I haven't.
But it must be.
I don't think.
Is it tens of thousands? Because
I don't really want to think about it.
Yeah.
I just told the lads at home when I die they can skin me and hang me on the wall. Like.
I love it. Yeah. Can I ask you a really stupid why?
I don't have the answer to that, to be honest. I like art. I don't know. I think tattoos were frowned upon years ago when I got my first ever tattoo, and it kind of really came out of the woodwork now as such. Like, if you don't have a tattoo, you're nearly not normal now. So
I suppose. Do you do some of the design work yourself?
Yeah, so we clash heads. Myself and Matt will clash heads big time. Like, so I kind of come up with a concept, and he'll kind of come up with the design, and then we'll go over and back to and fro just to decide on the final piece. Then, like, so.
Yeah, and I know you don't want to talk all that much about money, but can I get a rough cost? Say roughly what's being done on your ankle, for example. Roughly.
So an average day session, like, we were looking at probably 700 quid, like.
Wow.
Okay, but like my day session with Matt would be, you're talking at 9 o'clock in the morning to probably 8 o'clock at night, so with very little break in between, like, so.
That must be exhausting.
It's tough on the body, to be honest. When I come home after a day's tattoo session, it's like I have sunstroke, to be honest, that kind of feeling. So I'll go to bed kind of shaken out as such. But it's worth it, like, you know.
Yeah, because there was a chap in the parlour, and I thought he was being smart. He offered me a sweet, and I thought he was being a smart ass. But seemingly you have to replenish the sugar or something, is that?
Just, yeah, to be honest, I'm into my bit of fitness and stuff like that, and I normally don't drink sugary drinks, but anytime I go getting tattooed, it's a couple of bottles of Lucozade that's with me, and some sugary sweets. So.
And that was the other thing. The other thing I was going to say to you, without sounding weird, but you are looking in great shape. Is that all part of it? You know, the bodybuilder thing and the tattoos.
I don't know, to be honest. It's just I've been into my fitness for the last couple of years, and the tattoos actually just kind of make that pop of it, if you get me. So,
yeah.
Yeah, look, it's my mum would always be slagging me, saying, "You're not getting another tattoo. You haven't any room left," and this and that, like, so. I'm just there, like, I have plenty of room left, so.
Yeah.
But I'm fast running out of space now, so.
Now, would you put something on your neck up towards your face and stuff? Would you go that far with it?
No, to be honest, I have my both hands done. And that was a big step for me, to be honest, get my hands done.
Why? Because it's so visible, is that it?
It's so visible, yes. I remember, like, I have my own window business there, and when I got my second hand done and I went out to measure a job, it was the first time ever that I actually felt uncomfortable sitting down at someone's kitchen, going through their windows and doors with them, with that hand tattooed, because I hadn't seen it tattooed before, if you get me, like. It was the first time, so there's no way I definitely wouldn't go up my neck or my head or anything like that. So
this is very interesting now, Mark. Did you say you felt uncomfortable? Was that because somebody might view you differently as a business person
possibly,
with a tattoo?
Possibly, you know yourself, like when you work for yourself and stuff like that. Look, I know people don't take looks and stuff like that into consideration at times. It's more of your professional kind of work and stuff like that, your ethic and stuff like that. But yeah, that one day that I actually sat down, it was an elderly couple as well. I sat down with them just to talk through the stuff, and whatever way I looked down at my own hand, I actually felt a bit uncomfortable. It was only done about a week at that stage, like, you know, so.
Yeah, I'm still fascinated with some of what I'm looking at here. You have one particular piece. Is it a lion all the way down from your neck, all down to your groin? Is it? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah. So there's it's kind of Roman. That's a Roman style.
Oh,
so,
that's what it is. Yes, like a centurion's headdress or something.
Centurion, yeah. That's actually, that piece isn't fully finished. We jumped from that to the start the second leg, to be honest. So.
It's incredible, absolutely incredible. Can we use some of these images just to give people an idea?
100%, Fran, 100%, yeah.
Because we really have to show people. This is absolutely amazing. So you're on your last one, your final one. That's it then.
My final big piece, to be honest. So, like, you consider a sleeve a big piece, to be honest. So it's done in certain stages. So I'm on my last kind of big piece. So it's my left leg. So
and how does it work?
Part of it, so.
How does it work with people like you, Mark, who are really into this? I mean, do you look to big stars and say he's really good? He's got that really down, or?
So for tattoo actors, is it, Fran?
No, in terms of people that you know that are tattooed, that you would say have really this together, if you know what I mean. Really good stuff.
To be honest, I'm my own person. I'm into art. I'm into the tattoos and stuff like that. I have been with the last 15 years, I suppose, really, like. And like I say, I get a kick out of walking down, even if you're on holidays, you're walking down the strips or whatever, and you're walking with just your shorts on. The looks that people give you,
I can imagine.
They turn and take a second look, kind of thing, you know. So I do. I get a kick out of it, to be honest. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not sure if I'm doing it justice by my descriptions of it, but I mean, it really is wonderful work, and it really, really is artistic indeed. How is business going for you, Mark?
All good. Thanks very much, Fran. All good. So.
And what you're into windows? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I do windows and doors. I'm literally only up the road from me there, going to the floor. So.
Oh, very good indeed. Very good. Well, we'll have to have a look at the tattoos in person at some stage.
In person. No matter. Anytime you want me to call in, let me know. So.
All right. You look after yourself, Mark. Best of luck to you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Fran. Thanks for the call.
Thank you. Bye-bye to you now. That's Mark speaking to us there. 1800 938 007. Let me take a break. Back in just a moment.
Tipp FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, puck on. It's time to change. Test drive the award-winning range of Peugeot hybrids and fully electric vehicles at Slattery's Garage today. See slatterysgarage.ie.
If it matters to you, it matters to us. Call Tipp today on 1-800-938-007.
Let's around to say, Fran, listening to your item on tattoos, my sister-in-law got her first tat for her 80th birthday. And she got a little butterfly on her shoulder. And I'm enjoying this show, Fran, a fan in Tipperary town. Well, thank you very much indeed for that. For her 80th birthday, little butterfly, isn't that lovely? Fiona Kennedy joined me. Fiona, good morning to you.
Hi, Fran.
I'm sorry for laughing, Fiona, but I'm just looking at your message here, and it's very funny. It's very funny indeed. You do have a tattoo, Fiona. Will you tell me about it?
People who kind of know me but don't know me would probably be really shocked, because you'd never think to look at me that she's all tatted up. But I have, years ago when I lived in London, my mother and my sister used to come over every July for my mother's birthday, and we'd go to the races and have the crack. And my sister, one time, my sister Aisling Maloney in Golden, she'll kill me for calling her out on this, but she decided to come over, she wanted to get a tattoo. So I went off down to Angelic Hell in Wandsworth with her. And there we met Wolf, probably not his real name.
Wolf.
And Wolf, yeah, he was Canadian. And we met him there anyway. And so Aisling got her tattoo done, and that was all grand. So I hadn't a notion. I always hated tattoos. But then when I was there, I saw one. I thought, geez, that one's lovely. And I said, will I or won't I? So, of course, Aisling talked me into it. So I ended up getting a tattoo on kind of like the top side of my rump. I'm like an old cow that on Yellowstone. I'm branded. And it says, Wild at Heart. So I got it, and I was pure delighted. I was showing it to my sister. And I said, well, what do you think? She went, do you not think you should have got one that says Wide Art? And we laughed, because she's hilarious. And actually, years later, when I was very much in the late stages of labour with my oldest son, I was doing all the panting and all that you do, and next thing the nurse decided to take pity on me. She was giving me a shot of Pethidine into, again, my rump, I think. And so I was there and I was doing all my panting and everything, and next thing, anyway, she goes, oh, well, are you? And I went, am I what? And she went, Wild at Heart. I went, oh God, I used to be. but actually, the day I was getting that tattoo, I loved it so much. I was in danger of getting carried away. And I said to Aisling, I was flat out admiring myself, kind of watching myself backways in the mirror trying to see it. And I said to Wolf, I said, I wonder will I get, I said to Aisling, sorry, I said, I wonder will I get Dennis's name tattooed above it? And Wolf interjected and he went, how long have you two been together? And I said, well, I said 3 years, but of course the eternal optimist in me went, but we're going to be together forever. And he said, I recommend that a couple doesn't get a name tattoo till they've been together like 20 years. And I said, no, we are, like, we're going to get married, we're going to be together forever. And he went, I'm sure you will, honey. I still recommend the 20 years. And he refused to do it.
Wolf sounds like a wise man. Wolf
was a wise man. I wonder how many removals he had to do.
I'd say quite,
yeah, so that's me, my tattoos.
But you hated them before you got one.
Yeah, I did. I thought they were trashy. I thought all of the things that people tend to think about them. But look, I suppose these can only be seen if I choose to show them.
Right.
So it's grand. But
I was just thinking, Fiona, how inappropriate it would be for me to say, will you send us a picture?
Send in a photo. Do you know what? I'll take a photo, but I'll have a crop, so it will literally look like a side of beef or something, but mottled ham. But my two oldest sons, actually, they since went on to get tattoos, and they were looking for tattoos from when they were about 15. And my husband has 2 tattoos. Again, nothing major, but I found it kind of hard to say no to them, but I did say no, not until I can't remember what age I agreed with them, and I said, and you're only allowed to get a tattoo if you show it to myself and Dad first, and you have to listen. If we say no, then no argument. You're not to get that tattoo.
But it is different now, though. I mean, it's appreciated now as an art form, where, as you say, years ago, I mean, we made assumptions based on whether or not somebody had tattoos.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't know if you watched that programme on the Beast there the other night, and the one about the guards in Limerick and the drug squad.
No, I didn't see it. I heard about it. I must watch it. Yeah.
But there was guards there in his uniform with his short sleeves, and he had, I think, a full sleeve tattoo.
Yeah, and there was a time when they couldn't have tattoos if they were a member of the Gardaí.
that's the thing, like, and I understand at the moment, even when they are being recruited at the moment, they are inspected for tattoos, and if they have them, they're told, well, you'll have to wear the long sleeves. Now, maybe they tell them that when they're recruiting and when they're brand new in, wear your school uniform. But, look, I think there was a time maybe when we were quick to rush to judgment, but listen, I don't care who judges me for, I have my husband's name stamped in my arse, and I have a tattoo that says white arse, no, wild at heart, and I don't mind. So I'm fine.
and you're going to send us a cropped picture so that
I'm going to send you a cropped photo. I'm going to draw something now on a pink sheet of paper here, send it off, and let that be it.
All right, a pleasure.
I go home because I cannot get the camera where it needs to go to take a photo of that friend.
God, the detail of all of this is astounding. Look after yourself, Fiona. Happy New Year, Dove.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you and all your listeners, friend.
Bye-bye, that's Fiona. Let's go to Dave. Dave, good morning to you.
How's the crack?
Sure, same old, same. Did Leanne tell me, are you covered in tattoos? Is that what she said to me?
No, I have about 5 tattoos. I have 2 on one arm and 3 on the other arm. No, don't get me wrong. I'd like to have a lot more, but I kind of have this thing where I'm like, if I get an idea for tattoo, because the first 2 I got, I kind of don't really like them. So my new thing was, like, if I have an idea for tattoo, have the idea, come back to it 6 months later. And every time I've done that, I've come back and thought, Jesus Christ, what was I thinking? So I have 3 I love, and they're kind of memorial tattoos for people. You know what I mean? So there's a fairly deep meaning in them.
Sure.
I would say.
Yeah.
You know, like I have one of them. I don't know if I've ever said to you before. Myself, Michelle, we lost a baby during COVID.
Sure.
So I have a tattoo for him on my forearm. And then I have a necklace I got Michelle when she was going through treatment. I have that tattooed on my wrists. And Michelle wanted to get a tattoo as well, but obviously she was never able to. So I got her idea. It was a heart with his initials in it and wings. So a brother of mine is an artist. So I was like, look, I want to get this done on my arm. It's very feminine. So I got him to kind of rejigger it, make the wings a bit more, they're kind of like angel wings, but they're a bit more masculine looking, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I had that on top of my left arm.
Well, they're lovely ideas, but there must be an element of sadness when you see them all the time, Dave.
I once upon a time, yeah. Like the one I got for a little fella now, obviously because we don't have him with us, I can kind of carry him with me wherever I go, if that makes sense.
It does.
It's a beautiful tattoo. It has his initials and his date of birth, and Féileacán were amazing to us during the time. So I have their little baby footprint thing, and then there's a rose and
that's the organisation that helps people out with infant deaths, isn't that it? Yeah.
They're amazing people. So I have that, I have all their stuff, and it's a beautiful work of art, The poor tattoo artist, when he was done, I just broke down and started bawling my eyes out. And
God, yeah.
The poor fella, he said to me afterwards, he was like, look, I don't know whether to give you a hug or not. He goes, I'm not really a people person. And I was like, no, it's cool, man. Don't worry about it at all.
Oh, I shouldn't laugh. But he said to you he wasn't a people person, did he? That's very good, yeah. He felt he wanted to give you a hug, but he couldn't. Was that it?
Kind of, yeah. He was kind of said to me, he was like, I think I'm in the wrong game because all I do is spend time with people all day. But no, but it is. And then the one on top of my arm I got done for my birthday then about 2 years ago. And like the fact then that my brother also like had a hand in helping to redesign it as well. There's just that extra little bit of something to it.
Yeah,
that makes
of course.
Sense?
Of course it makes sense. Of course it does indeed. And would you ever get a tattoo, do you think, in the future without it having so personal a meaning? In other words, would you get something that's just artistic for the sake of it or not?
Like if I saw a design, you see, the thing is, like, I'm not the kind of person, I don't want to go in and look at a book and be like, ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like the more personal edge. So again, having a brother who's an artist, I mean, I can basically get free designs. So I do, like that arm where I have a couple of them now, I want to do something for my mum, something for my dad, you know what I mean? I'm mad into Celtic mythology and stuff like that, so I'd love to get like elements of that in it and maybe kind of turn it into a sleeve.
I think that's a lovely idea as well. And did you, at any point of your life, did you tend to judge people who had tattoos?
No, you see, I would have, 20 years ago, I was the only goth kid in Tipperary.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So,
that's okay.
So tattoos and piercings have always been in my wheelhouse, so to speak.
Yes, yeah.
You know, I have a bunch of piercings and stuff as well. So no, and again, I've come from a family of artists. Like, 2 of my brothers are artists. My mum was an artist. My dad was a very creative guy as well. So I would have always more looked at it from the perspective of it's an art form, you know. And I mean, it's just the only difference is, you know, that particular artist's canvas is a person's skin, you know. Look, there are tattoos. I mean, I remember once upon a time when everybody was getting tattoos, like what they call the tramp stamp. You know, it's the one women get kind of just above their arse crack.
Yeah.
And there are certain tattoos I've seen on people, and I'm like, you're an idiot because that's on your body for life. Like, I know a guy, he's got original gangster tattooed on his neck and a teardrop on his cheek, and you look at him and you're like, you're a moron. Or there was the Fighting Irish one was a popular one years ago.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So,
yeah.
You know, I don't judge tattoos as a whole. I wouldn't be big on facial tattoos or neck tattoos myself. But I also wouldn't judge somebody if they want to get something like that done. And if you are the kind of person who gets neck or facial tattoos, you generally work either in that industry or in an industry where it doesn't really matter. You know, I would more judge someone on having a tattoo to just look stupid.
Yeah, one of our listeners obviously got out of the wrong side of the bed this morning saying all of this is absolutely pointless. It's just vanity and it's not art and nonsense and all of that sort of thing. Well, what do you say to somebody with that point of view?
They've never put on a nice shirt and a tie to feel good, no? Have they not? Do they walk around wearing a burlap sack? They've never been vain at all, have they?
Yes, you know? Vanity is in the eye of the beholder, I suppose, and all of that kind of thing as well. Do you know, I'm more intrigued with this notion that you were the only goth in Tipperary town.
I swear to God, imagine driving through Cap Wide circa, 2006, 2007, long leather jacket, long hair, black nail polish, boots, baggy jeans, chains hanging off my pants. I used to wear a dog collar with 1-inch spikes on it.
No way.
I shit you not. I swear to God.
And what were you listening to on the Cure, I suppose, was it?
Metallica, Marilyn Manson, Korn, Limp Bizkit. But I also, Somewhere Over the Rainbow is one of my favourite songs in the whole wide world as well. You know, I've a fairly wide kind of love of music, but yeah, just, you know yourself, at the time, you're like, everything, life is pain,
yes.
You know, that kind of crack.
Oh, it's brilliant altogether. I never know where conversations are going to end when we start a conversation on this programme. Dave, we wish you well and a Happy New Year to you and to your family. Thanks very much for coming on. Thank you. Good morning to you. That is Dave the Goth speaking to us there. That's it from me. Thanks to Leanne, and fair play to her for wading through the programme this morning with all sorts of technical difficulties, but we got there. Stephen's on the way with the time tunnel. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Look after yourselves, won't you? Bye-bye.
Tip FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, Puck On. Main Peugeot dealers in the Premier County. And now stocking the full range of the luxury French car brand DS automobiles. Book your test drive today with Slattery's Garage, Puck On. See slatterysgarage.ie.